Also, I just
I
realized
mean-
a bit of JR is cutting into Jake, so I'm gonna fix that before we
Oh,
It
it is.
happened
start.
the entire previous stream, drive me nuts.
I saw that, and I know that while it was happening, and then completely forgot about it today. All right, let's fucking.
Is he on my right? Is he on my
tuck you a
right? Am I
bit.
doing it correct?
No, you're on the wrong side.
Fuck! Yeah!
Jake, wrong side.
Jake, you leaned into it.
You
Yeah.
literally
Oh,
leaned
look at the
towards
way.
it.
Wait, what?
When he pokes the way he just poked, and you lean the way you just leaned, it looks like he stabs you. So you
Oh.
would go the other way.
All right.
Towards the
There you
window.
go.
That's your
All
dodge.
right.
All right.
Now that we've all
All right.
practiced this, so when you do
Now that we
stage
No.
fighting,
thoroughly dissected
We're
the
not.
So
frog.
now when he does this, and you go,
so what I need each of you to do is take pieces of masking tape. I need you to put them on your desk so you can tell who's sitting next to you on your left and your right.
Mm.
So you can just look
Have
over and be
someone
like,
on that side.
Wait, I can just pull up the old stream.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So it's Karsa on the left, Simule in the left center, Edward
Right, Simule.
right center, Alfred far right.
Okay. Cool.
Alex, high five.
Wrong side.
No, other way. Other way.
Other side. Well, so
Yeah.
you're on the wrong side too, bud.
No!
You're all dumb!
I'm keeping this part in the recording. So
Oh, God.
that's actually where I'm going to start. Is everyone fucking trying to do their best, and JR doing something to Jake. I don't fucking care for that.
Mm.
Jake just looks up. All right, so hi, welcome to episode 2 of Beyond the Veil. I'm glad everyone's already cracked out for the evening. It's wonderful. Last we had left off, you were all in the Grand Market.
Yeah.
Edward's about to leave, if I recall correctly. But
Yes.
Karsa, Simule, and Alfred had kind of come together and started discussing what had just transpired, which for anyone who didn't watch the last episode, go fuck yourself. How dare you? It's recorded. It's the video link right here.
It is available.
There's no reason to not watch it. So, yeah, for future reference, normally I will actually type up summaries of what happened last episode. I could not be bothered in the 2 weeks since our last game. Just fucking life happened. Get over it. Long story short, we were introduced to each of these characters. We were introduced to Karsa, we were introduced to Simule, we were introduced to Edward, and we were introduced to Alfred. Each of them had largely different experiences in the city of Lamplight, and we got a big general introduction to kind of how the city works and the tone and the setting, blah 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 blah. Long story short, they were attacked by shadow-like creatures in the market, and they are now coming together at this point to discuss what had occurred. Presumably, I don't actually know. This is where I'm going to let you guys take it. So I'm going to switch over the music to something a little more something. That'll work? Question mark. All right, whatever. All right, so picking up at the Grand Market. I believe Edward was leaving and is continuing to do so.
Yeah, he's going to. Yeah, he's
It's just so
stomping away.
so we can all refresh where we were. I believe you had taken some cake and you had looted the stand that was
yeah.
selling cake.
I took cake, and I took some money. Yep.
As you're starting to walk off, you definitely hear loud enough. Karsa's not shy about whoever could hear. The Moonrats were right. The shadows are after us. All of us. Why?
I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna spin around. I'm gonna be like, I'm a target.
I saw you drawn by the rats on the wall, and 3 of the people, there was 20 drawings. 3 of them already had X's through them, and they said those people had already died. We may be next.
From these shadows.
You said, beware the shadows and try counting them. Something like that.
Well, for the sake of discourse, I believe it is important that you are aware that this was post-street meet.
Oh, yeah. Street meat from Long Shadow.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, quite.
Yeah.
I say it's quite convenient to just get meat on demand like this.
I mean, you most likely ate rat as well with that street meat.
It's not even a snack.
Have you seen the rats?
Yes, they talk to me.
Thank you. All right.
And I was
What do we
trying
do?
to dissuade Edward from leaving.
No, you're
before
trying to
the end of
dissuade me
last
from
game.
stealing. That's what you
I
were trying to
believe it was,
decide.
yeah, I believe you had mentioned before. Hey, if you need food, I
Yeah.
own a bakery, and you did give him
Yeah.
a card, I believe.
No, I
Yeah.
didn't give him anything.
No,
I
I believe Simuel had given you the name of his bakery. Should you want?
And he offered him bread bags.
I actually
Yeah, because you were straight up
his
like
his
Insulation.
actual intent behind that was to make you feel like you were helping and then disappear without you like knowing where he lives or even knowing his name. Damn it.
I only the only lead I have is, well, and I'll point to Alfred. He has this bone flute they gave me, but they said they won't be able to respond to it for 30 more days.
Ah,
And-
yes, the bone flute.
And now there's
Gaze
this.
upon it. It's a flute, crafted
What do I
with the
see?
calcium of a living creature. Behold.
DM Steve.
so you do see a tiny little flute that is carved out of bone, or appears to be carved out of bone.
Is it tiny to us too?
For not as ridiculously small as it would be to Karsa's massive hands.
Yeah, that's what I
Um,
meant. Yeah.
To you though, it is still like it's, roughly the size of a knuckle bone. Like it's not long.
Oh, I forgot to state how tall I am.
Yes.
I am 5'4".
Edward is not a tall man.
He is not a tall man. No.
But no glowy bits or anything?
Nothing that's glowing immediately. You see little runes carved into it, but they're not glowing per se. They're just like little etchings. They're little like scratches into the bone itself.
Okay.
Yeah.
A neat little trinket.
Well, apparently this is the key to something incredible, fantastic, mystical. Or it's a piece of bone given to a man hallucinating by some rats.
All right.
I'm along
Okay.
for the ride. I don't know.
The rats told me they're interested in finding out why we are some of the only people that can still see them. They have no answers, but they know these 20 people are the ones that can see them, and they decided to make contact with me because apparently I can see extra. But Alfred apparently is missing things right in front of him. Apparently we can all see different things. Not everyone sees the same thing.
I believed it was a metaphor. Could be wrong.
Like
But it
you don't
appeared to
see the
me
thing that's
that-
right under your nose, sort of thing.
Well, no, as though like life's experience has given us a breadth of things that we all see and notice, and because of that said experience, we see and notice different things. Our traumas inform our ability to perceive the world around us.
They did not speak in riddles as he does. They seemed straightforward.
Samuel, while Alfred is
These are some
kind of
straight shooters.
ranting and like ranting per se, but definitely going down a very eloquent speech that is a little longer than one could palate like reasonably. You do hear, you feel this twinge inside of you. This normal nudging against your consciousness, this little bit of a bump against your normal thoughts. You get the idea this is usually the entity asking for permission to talk.
Oh. Like
Just-
out loud?
Just to you at this time. You get the idea there's two
Oh,
different
then-
modes. Like it will give you a far sturdier knock against your consciousness if it wants to vocalize something through you. In this case, it's more looking for an audience to speak with you.
Okay, yeah, definitely.
Okay, so you just kind of turn your like you like while Alfred's going down this long, elaborate speech, you tune in for just like you kind of quiet him out
Not
and you
long.
listen into yourself. I just imagine anything you actually say in character is actually a good
Like-
5 minutes like, in real
Yeah.
game.
Like whatever you're saying to us is like double.
The abridged
like-
version of what's actually
Yeah.
coming out of Alfred.
Yeah, we're all whatever.
So you hear this.
Samuel,
Yes.
The long-winded one reeks of starlight.
What does that mean? Where starlight from where? What?
Starlight, Starbright.
From beyond.
Is it the flute? Or is it something else?
No, it's coming from him.
Can I get closer?
Absolutely. Like, are you trying to be stealthy about it, or are you just like you immediately stump up to him and just stare him in the eyes? Like, what?
As he's talking, just
Yeah, just
he's like deep breathing, just nice.
Hey, how are you?
You know anything about stars?
Jerry, you're a little too
So
soon.
when-
Just lean to there you go.
I'll fix it.
What's your sign?
So I'd like to believe that when he's like viewing or incapacity, like my eye does turn like black.
Mhm. Oh, so
So,
you're
like-
saying when he's actively looking,
Mhm.
you okay? Yeah, I'll say that. When you're
The rest of us can perceive that. Like,
yes,
Yes.
you notice that which eye goes black.
It's my left eye.
Okay, your left eye. You see as Samuel's eye just turns into this, like, you see it shadow over with this pitch black darkness as it kind of scans Alfred up and down.
What do you see?
He twinkles.
From what part? Like chest, internal, head? Is there something on him or is it in him?
It is him.
Can I help you, chum?
well, everyone's distracted. I'm throwing the money back because we're spending too long. We're spending too long in the crime scene now.
You just there's nagging thoughts of like, this is
Yeah.
probably gonna get me in trouble.
If I was just leaving, I wouldn't care. But I'm just standing here talking to these morons at night. Like I just gotta get rid of the money
You do
now.
notice as like the more you guys kind of like come together a little bit, the market is starting to come back to its normal fervor and frenzy. People are starting to come back to this area. You get the idea that they were subconsciously avoiding it. At first, it was outright terror, but at this point, like that is starting to weigh off of them, and a lot more of them are starting to act like the constable and return as though nothing had happened.
as if anyone walks close by, my sword that's still out, I just tap their shadows each time someone walks by.
It's a lot of shadow tapping. It's like as people are starting to return, there's a good 20-30 shadows that you already tink, 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 and like every time, like you do a full thrust, you feel your sword connect with the actual paved cobblestone beneath your feet every time they keep moving. At this point, though, you've gotten the idea that you haven't had anything react negatively to this.
Okay. Question about light in the city. There's these gas lanterns,
Mhm.
and they're fed through. Are they magical, or are they fed like gas through like the lamppost?
Would Carson know? Would Carsa have taken any interest in finding out?
I guess I would look now because now that I know light might matter tactically, I'd look and like try to understand my light situation.
Okay, make an intelligence check for me.
Takers.
Didn't roll. Do I click there?
Double yikes.
Why won't it roll? Oh, there it goes. I just had to click many times. 10.
Hey, not bad.
That's
bad
not
for me.
awful. You get the idea that it's certainly not coming from a wick of any sort. It's not drawing any oil. It's not your traditional lamp. It's certainly something else is occurring here that is causing the flame to come from the base of the lamp itself, but it's certainly not a fuel source that you're familiar with.
Okay, and there's no torches.
There are no torches.
Okay.
There's no open flames. The only open flames you can see are that down the way farther in the Grand Market, there is actual street performers who are like, they're fire breathers. So you see like one guy just belch out flames.
Cool.
But there's no open sources of flame that are for illumination purposes.
Okay, let's keep that in mind for now.
Chum, perhaps you need a medicated droplet for your ocular issue.
Oh.
You-
That, and I covered up. Now when I look
quite
through
the
it,
parlor trick you've got there. I will give you, as a master of fright myself, it gave me quite the start.
now when it sees things, do I see the twinkle as well?
No.
Okay.
You have your vision, it has its for the time being.
Okay, so they're not like linked yet.
Correct.
Okay. So, yeah, sorry about that. Just it helps me see the things that you guys do, I assume.
Interesting.
So, why were we the only ones that saw that? And did anybody else notice the whole thing with the constable? My friend with I let loose some information and just gone. Something's weird. Something weird's going
What
on.
do you mean?
Yes. How aware are we
We
of
are
the veil?
outlanders, you see. We are not familiar with these people, and if they're behaving strangely, honestly, aloofness and the inability to retain any logical information or semblance of self beyond just buy, trade, sell is normal for most city folk, from what I understand.
Okay, so when I was speaking with him, I tried to inform him of what was happening, and then a switch flipped, and it was like nothing retained. It was just another normal day for him. Like nothing. He didn't see my hand get removed. Nothing.
And that's
Well,
abnormal.
do you children, and I'm going to point to, you said there were like little soot fairies by some of the lanterns. Last time you said there was like little,
There's soot sprites, and you absolutely observe them. They're not
and you,
as many in the Grand Market, you notice. Like, it's really infrequent in the Grand Market.
you also said there were like little creatures that were acting like in bands, and little creatures like selling newspapers.
Mhm.
I like there was like, it was kind of teeming with life like this.
Yes.
So to the you three, you children, do you see, and whatever ones that are happening close by that are obvious to me, do you not see the sprites and the fey creatures?
Do we?
No. So Karsa is definitely perceiving things that you aren't at this time. And in this point, Karsa's kind of looking around and is seeing like these manifestations of mercantilism. So there's like essentially like it's strange in that, like, looking around the market, Karsa, you are able to see things that other people can't, obviously. But it's different shapes than you were seeing in the other area of Lamplight. At this point, you see like spare change that people have dropped and kind of moved around is getting up and walking of its own volition. Like, it is standing up and then rolling itself down the street. You see some of them are kind of falling into some of the rain gutters and moving into the sewers. You see these tiny little, the same soot sprites you saw previously around the gas lamps are now like hanging around this one lamp and haggling about how much fire they can make this one produce. You see them essentially, every spirit here is reflecting the ideas of the Grand Market itself, and the attitudes therein.
I will just simply, as they say, can't see it, I will be more explicit. Do not see the coin there rolling by itself, or the gathering of sprites around that lantern. Wow.
If anyone wants to, they can make a quick Arcana check.
I'll try it.
Yeah, I like to as well. What'd you say? What was the check?
Arcana?
Arcana.
No.
Let's do it.
22, please.
No.
Yes for him.
All right, so what do we have?
22.
So now that Karsa's pointed them out, you are able to perceive them as well. You don't see as many, and you certainly don't see the grander scale ones or the more minuscule ones in this case. But you do see the general ones. So in this case, you are able to see the group of soot sprites haggling by the lamp. You don't notice any of the others, though. You certainly picked that one up, essentially because Karsus really dragged your attention to the largest grouping of them. You're able to at least perceive those now.
Oh, well, now that you say it, I do see that.
You also know.
Good eye, sniper. Well done, marksman.
You also notice
Great.
the moment your attention leaves them, it begins slipping from your mind like someone washing dirt off a plate.
You see, it appears to me in my perception that it's like a thing that you see out of the corner of your eye. The minute you try to focus on it, it vanishes. It's like an apparition.
That is exactly what happened to your friend. Constable, you said? I figured it out! It must be the street meat.
I did not partake in the street meat.
Which is why I can see better. You, try street meat.
I will never. There will never come a day that even if the last morsel of food to touch my lips was that of a horse that I had loved and ridden for 40 years, I would never touch street meat. Never touch street meat.
Suit yourself, stupid.
Tell me, Baker, would you sample street meat if it meant you could see soot pixies?
I would give it an honest try. I am a man of
You see,
new tastes.
this moron would as well.
Hey,
Okay, the working
That's just
theory.
hung in the air.
Yeah.
No one says anything for a brief moment. You do realize, like,
I see no reason to do it, so no. But why do I need to see those?
And see, this man appears intelligent. Tell me, sir, what do you do for a living? What is your occupation?
Well, my name is Edward Connor, and I snap, and I do like a sleight of hand of like a business card appearing in my hand. And I'm like, here you go.
Interesting, absolutely incredible. Describe to me your business card.
Oh no.
so what I will say is it shows very clearly on yours, and this is pretty standard across all of your business. It shows the law offices of, I've got to pull this up on the roll computer.
Mephisto, Malacroth, and Locke.
Correct. But it does
M and L.
Yes, and L. It does also show your name, but underneath your name, everyone at Mephisto, God, I forgot the other name, and Locke, L. Everyone at L has accountant listed on their name. They are an accountant. That is what they do. They do accounting.
Yep.
They're in accounts receivable.
Oh, you see, this man, who also quite intelligently would pass on street meat, is a personal calculator, a CPA, an analyst, an actuary, an auditor. This sensible individual also would not allow the carnage of street meat pass across his lips just to see fairies.
I mean, I wouldn't do it just to see fairies. No, if it's like the cheapest option, I'd probably.
Okay, so none of you eat street meat, but you can all see some of these things. So maybe it's not the street meat. But you all, I've seen, can use magic. These things disappeared when they went invisible to me. Do you know how I can see them when that happens? Can you see them when that happens?
Oh, the things that just tried to kill us?
Yes, in case they come back.
Nope, didn't see them when they disappeared.
I'm a little new to this still, so yeah, I haven't seen much so far.
Well, I'm not
where are
new to
we of
carnage,
this?
but I will say I've never seen a man's arm be detached and put back on. Would you like to explain that? Wait. I pull out my book.
Just it's a new thing that's come into light as of recent.
So are you saying that if I lopped my arm off, it would grow back?
You could certainly try.
All right, Baker is a fool. Any other interesting things I should mark down about your lizard-like ability to recover appendages?
That's pretty fast for a lizard, though.
I'd rather it not go on record.
Oh no, I don't even know your name. How could I apply it to record?
Hey, what do you do? You're writing this down, yeah.
As if you.
All right, that
You see
That
Carson's
right
face
there.
sink for about 2 seconds.
yeah. I hope that he was actually gonna warn me. like he just gives me a stare like, do not ask him. Why did you do this to me? Like immediately, as soon as right after I asked her, I immediately was just like, all right, I give up. I can't do it.
I see where this is going. I'm like, I got places.
Roaming
To
the world
This cake is
without
going stale. I gotta buy.
Where did everyone go? Corsa?
He's just standing there, kind of just.
Corsa, did my grandeur scare off our new compatriots?
I don't know. They're weird, like you.
Did you not
Tend
warn
to
them
understand
that
them?
I'm humble enough to grace the presence of lower life forms? There's nothing. I'm approachable to the common people. Clearly, you and I, we're compatriots, kind of, a little.
I have no idea what you're talking about. With
I would assume that my
where's the street meat?
inspired fear. Okay.
As you say, where's this street meat? You see this very finely dressed elvish woman kind of look over at you and just go, and just continue walking away as you stab her shadow.
All right,
Perfect.
Karsa, I will give you this. We can go get street meat if that's what you wish. It's the closest thing to carnage I can write about these days anyway.
Dude.
Isn't it getting boring to you? Isn't just smashing skulls and pounding street meat into that orifice of yours getting old, stale?
It's only just begun, and it is a means to an end. For now,
All right.
I'd find me somewhere to swing this thing, and I'll finally put my sword back on my back, and I'll be happier. I won't lie.
For the ride until something more gruesome comes across my vision, and then I'll document that. But until then, Karsa, I'm your scribe. Away. Away.
Just walking around with a notebook up behind him, like.
And you kind of see Karsa stop and just look around and truly be a little bit lost to where to go next.
So I'm assuming
Finding shadows. So good.
so each member of you are splitting to go different ways then for the time being.
He does have my business card now. I will say that.
Yep.
And that at least has where I work.
Yep.
So
And I gave
me.
Edward well, at least my name of the place. I don't think I gave a business card.
They've been to your bakery, so
Okay. So no, totally fine. I am not worried about this at all because I have my own machinations. So I'm more just making sure who's going where, when, how, and who we want to pick up from, which story we want to focus on before we move into the next.
I'm heading back to my shop.
Okay. So you're returning to the shop where you are getting a delivery of your oven, correct?
Mhm.
Okay. Edward, where are you going?
to drop off this cake and then to the bar.
Okay.
Oh,
Fair enough.
Yep.
Alfred and Karsa,
Yep.
do you have a general idea? If you don't, we could focus on one of theirs. That would give you guys. You can actually chat in the chat to fuck around. But if you guys need extra time to kind of determine where you guys want to go as a group, we can also do that. But it seems like I've got two very strong directions where I can take this.
I mean, that's fair. I'm kind of interested in seeing where the other two's story goes because I'm sure it'll overlap with us.
Okay.
So when you type in the chat, are you going to type like an asshole too? Or,
Sorry, me?
Long-winded stuff.
Oh, dude. JR's character just was like 10
Oh, no.
paragraphs. Oh.
You can't ignore me now, he says.
I just pulled up chat beat.
ChatGPT.
GPT.
Yeah.
Hey, can you tell Alex to go fuck himself in 100 words or more?
Can you write me an essay on why Street Me is...
Is most likely not rat.
Well, that is a Patreon bonus down the road. It'll just be JR narrating the 10-page paper of Street Me is not good for the following reasons. Okay. So I will start with Edward.
No,
then.
it'll be a novella in the style of early Lovecraft describing Corsa's bowel movements after eating street meat. Just unimaginable, unthinkable
Vivid
horrors
detail.
that drive one insane from looking into it.
The odor that emanated from Kaus's room.
Wherever we do walk, did you see when I had the shut on, was lifting it towards the sky, and they blasted it through the air?
Just regaling him with war stories at this point. Or essentially, the play-by-play of what happened during combat as though he hadn't already been paying attention.
Yeah, yeah.
And taking notes on it
And
as
taking
well.
notes.
Since you were looking down more than up.
Hey,
Yeah.
Corsa, what's a nice way of saying mindless brute? Instinctive brute. Gotcha. Never keep going.
Yep.
And then I...
Primal.
So,
Yeah.
all right. So, Edward, you begin making your way home then with a cake.
Mhm.
You arrive in your neighborhood.
And groceries. That's right. Yeah.
Did you pick up groceries? If I
Yeah.
recall correctly, you hadn't stopped to
I
get
did.
groceries first.
No, I had groceries. Yeah. I said I had a bag of groceries in one hand, and I was just blasting with the
Perfect.
other.
Yes.
Like,
Okay.
So I said
Fantastic.
he dropped the dagger instead of the groceries.
yeah.
I remember, yes. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, so you arrive in your neighborhood, the general vicinity of your neighborhood, with a bag of groceries. You're maybe a block away from your home before you see a small figure beginning running towards you. I need to grab your important NPCs. There we go. So you see your daughter Thessalia running because she sees in one hand a large cake and in the other bag of groceries.
Yeah.
And you kind of run up to you, and she's like, "You brought cake!"
I did. Yep. Because you have been such a good girl, and maybe don't share this with the rest of them.
Make a quick perception check for me.
Oh no, they're right there. Oh no. All right. This is terrible. Oh, it's terrible. I didn't see anything.
Awesome.
I got a 4. So
Okay. So nothing is readily apparent to you. As you say,
Oh.
don't share this with the rest of them. The next thing you hear is the sound of just a loud bang sound, and you see the front torso of your daughter explode
Oh my god!
as she hits the ground in front of you and begins dissolving into shadow.
Oh no. Okay. Well, that's horrifying. Thank you. Just where did that
Hold
come
on to the
from?
cake.
I'm genuinely, yeah. I'm like, I like dropped the cake. Yeah,
Oh no!
yeah.
What?
The cake's
Yeah.
dropped.
You just made it.
So much
That's so
better.
much worse.
Okay, the cake hits the ground with a indelicate thud. Just a
Yeah.
your daughter is crawling towards you, just going.
Ah! It's horrifying.
As
It's
like you can see
absolutely
this
horrifying.
pools of viscous shadow liquid is spraying across the cobblestone.
Oh god, where did that blast come from?
Make a perception check if you'd like.
Oh god, I can try. My perception's terrible. It's really bad, Steven.
That's fine.
Oh god. Okay, so I got a 5. Then no, I didn't see anything. I told you.
So the shock and horror of
It's
seeing
just the genuine horror of it.
the
Yeah. It's just,
absolute like
oh.
terror of seeing your youngest daughter's just
Whew.
torso blown to pieces in front of you.
Yeah.
It ceases all logical thinking in your brain. You're not looking around for
Yeah.
anything. You're not trying to figure it out. It becomes quickly apparent though, as this large draconic figure in these large leather padded armor is apparently cleaning out the back end of a rifle at this point and preparing to put another ball into the end of the musket.
Whoa! I see that with my
Yes.
terrible perception.
Well, more than it is now walking right in front of you and is pointing the musket at this creature's head.
I can tell that's not my daughter at this point. Maybe
That is correct. Yes.
Yeah,
You can tell,
I'm like, oh my, holy shit!
you see
He
your
actually-
daughter's face. You see your daughter's features shifting and moving. Her face morphing and stretching in ways that are unnatural. Her jaw
I'll just
unhinging
blast it.
and falling into her chest, like it's trying to mix up matter that isn't there anymore.
Yeah.
You see,
I'm
like,
gonna Eldritch Blast it myself, honestly. Just be like, don't you dare take her appearance.
absolutely make an attack roll.
All right. Don't even know what it is. I'm just so disgusted by it. 15.
A 15? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You immediately smoke it, and you just see it go, and it just lights up, and you see flecks of purple begin floating off of its body as it just disappears into the cobblestone.
What was that?
That was one of the shadows. I thought you'd be aware of them by now.
I encountered something like that earlier. Yeah,
We all did.
we.
My name is Rex.
Hello.
You see this large draconic figure outstretched, like the hand that's not holding a musket reaches over
Yeah.
and just puts its hand towards you.
Eh?
He grabs your hand and he shakes it.
Yeah.
I assumed you would be careful enough to be counting the shadows by now.
Nope. I'm a merry way home.
Yeah, you might want to do that from now on. At least for the time being, while these things are running the streets.
I'm really terrible at noticing things, if that isn't apparent by now.
We just met. I don't know what's apparent, what's
You
not.
literally just saw what just happened to me. That should be evidence enough of that, I guess.
Fair enough. You've dropped your cake.
Ah, I did, and I ruined that cake, didn't I? I open it up.
It is fucking wrecked.
Damn it, that's
Everything-
2 cakes in a row tonight.
This 50 gold plus cake is
Yeah.
ruined. You get the
You
idea
need-
that like
Mending
Oh.
for that? Prestidigitation?
I do have prestidigitation, but that only makes it look okay, really. Like, yeah.
Lop up some of the pieces that didn't touch the ground. Like try to scoop it.
I assumed the case was okay, but the cake inside wasn't. That's what I had assumed.
it's the exterior is the box is bruised and damaged, like it's definitely taken
Yeah.
some corner. And you do see
Yeah.
that like the liquid that was inside of the cake has now splotched the box.
Oh
making the
no,
box
there was
soggy.
liquid inside the cake. Oh
Correct.
no.
Yeah. So you get the idea. The reason it was so expensive is because it is a multi-tiered, multifaceted dessert. It's not just pure
Dumb.
cake.
They're not gonna notice. Kids are dumb.
No, she's gonna notice.
Funnel it down her fucking throat.
Yeah.
She'll be happy.
It's this or a chest blast, and what do you want?
Oh my god.
So you see at this point the large draconic figure pull a bag off of him, set his rifle onto the ground, and open up the bag, and he produces an identical cake and presents
What?
it to you.
What?
Shadow cake. Check the shadow.
Yeah, does the cake have a shadow?
Why?
Make a
Stab
perception
at
check.
the shadow.
Make a perception check.
Oh, man. I'm terrible at this. Watch, this is the one I crit on. It's like, oh yeah, it doesn't have a shadow.
Yeah.
15.
15. The cake has your shadow. The cake.
Cake has a shadow. The cake is safe, everyone. All right.
The cake checks out.
All right. That's shadow cake right there.
But it is identical, right
What?
down to the. It's from the same place. It is the same one
How-
you originally looked for.
How'd you do this?
Ironically, this is just what's the word? Coincidence. This
Oh,
was,
so like you already had one of those cakes?
well, I was going to deliver it to you.
What?
Yes,
From
your new employer.
oh
He provides you, like you can see it on the cake.
What?
There's a tiny little card
oh no.
that reads, "Courtesy of Professor Aiden Clayso."
Aiden Clayso, huh? Oh boy.
Business
What
card's
happened?
useless.
What? Yeah, exactly. What happened to my previous? Exactly. That was the way you guys were getting in contact with me. All right. Why my new employer?
From what I'm told, your current employer has you out on loan now. I'm sure they will tell you the details tomorrow.
Of course they do. All right. Thanks for the cake. Thanks for delivery. Thanks for killing the shadow version of my daughter.
You see at this point,
Great.
as you're kind of discussing this, he's already provided you the
Correct,
cake.
right?
He's still on the ground. You see him take a large glass jar at this point that is covered in scratchings and etchings, and around the very lid of the jar itself is this glowing luminescent stone you're not familiar with. And you see him scoot the remnants of the shadow creature into the jar and then seal the lid, and you hear this pop as it seals itself. And then glows with this bright light and then dims down again.
Do you want to know where more of those are so you could do that to them too?
No,
Oh, okay.
they're
All right.
already gone if you've already done this.
Oh, I don't have anything to seal them in.
Like, that's the point, is this one's fresh.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
The other ones have probably
decayed or whatever.
disapparated by now.
Yeah, they definitely did. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
I should let you get to your family.
So you're Rex. I'm Edward.
I know
Yep.
your name, Edward. I can't
Nah,
be delivered.
Yeah. They even gave you my address?
Yes.
Wow. All right. Oh, okay.
You'll find
Thank you.
our employer has
Mhm.
a certain fondness for leaving no thread undone.
So they just know it all.
They're very thorough.
All right. I respect that. I respect that. Okay.
Wonderful. All right.
So I guess I'll get my details from my previous employer. Thank you.
You see him pull, he grabs the rifle, he puts it back on his shoulder, and then he begins walking down the street, and he throws you a clawed wave as he continues to walk away from your neighborhood.
I'm like holding the cake and the groceries, and I'm like,
The ruined cake is still on the ground.
yeah, I'm holding the new one,
yes,
right? Yeah.
correct.
Cool.
Do you do anything with the ruined cake?
No.
Nope, give her some.
Okay.
Jeez.
No, I'm gonna give her the new cake that is clearly meant for me. Yeah, no. I'm gonna
Okay.
give her that cake.
You
Yeah.
return home, and unbeknownst to you, as you're walking, you see a tiny little rat grab some of the previous cake and
Yeah.
gnawing down on it.
Totally can have it.
You arrive
That's
home.
future street meat right there.
You got to keep that street meat fed. It's got to have that nutrients. All right.
Fatten it up. Yeah.
You return
Whatever,
home.
Maybe a street
Um,
meat.
All right, that's it. We need to get a pet rat.
cool.
It's gotta happen now.
Do a quick charisma roll for me.
Just straight charisma.
Just straight charisma.
All right. 23.
Okay. So you get home and your family is overjoyed. Not just because you've brought groceries, but also because you managed to snag a gigantic cake that is way out of your pay grade.
Yeah.
And your wife
Yeah.
does not ask questions. In fact, she's more, you notice she's more pleased than not that you've brought something home that
is fancy as
is
fuck.
fancy as fuck. It's considered above your status, even though
Yeah.
it is certainly concerning to anyone else who would ever, remotely worry about your finances.
Yeah.
Your wife doesn't seem to care about that. Your wife is just glad you've brought something nice home, and as a result, has treated you nicer than she has in about 2 months. She drinks less. Your children give you a little more respect. You even notice your son is interested in listening to what you have to say about how your workday was.
Oh.
It's probably the first
Oh
good
my
day
god.
in your life in about 2 months.
Yeah, all it took was me being almost killed, and
You
They don't
push
love
that
you after
thought out of your
your
head a
work.
little bit.
I do.
Like
They
He
don't deserve
does.
you
He
get the
does.
idea tonight is the idea. Tonight is celebration. Tomorrow
Yeah,
is
yeah,
ramifications and consequences. Tonight's
yeah.
let's just enjoy this moment with your family.
Yeah, and at this point now he's basically gonna skip out and go into the bar with his friends because now he's just like,
Poverty
my
pleasure
family
cycle.
cares.
It's the poverty pleasure cycle.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yep.
Meanwhile,
Mhm.
Zogborgen sits at a bar alone,
Yeah, exactly.
crying into a beer.
Yep.
That is what we'll leave you for tonight. Let's
Yeah.
pull up to Simuel. You arrive. So you went straight to your bar, right? Or excuse me, bar. You went straight to your bakery,
Whoa.
right?
Yeah,
Cool.
maybe talking with it along the way.
Okay. What do you want to talk? What are you talking about?
So, all right, we need to talk. What did you mean by him looking like Starlight? That's super fucking obscure. Why can they see things you can see? What are you? I need answers now. Like I appreciate you saving my life, and the whole vice versa. You need me, I need you, but I need answers. Where'd you come from? What are you? Like we need to talk about that.
Simuel, we need answers. It's not just you. I have questions too.
Which are?
Why does he reek of Starlight?
Why is that a bad thing?
He smells like us.
Long pause.
Did you just read the stage directions? Long pause. Tearful consideration.
Does that mean that he has one of you inside of him too? Is he one of you?
No! That's stupid.
I'm sorry, this is new to me.
It's new to us.
Look, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to upset you, but there's a lot going on for us, and maybe we can work towards a common goal and figure out why he smells and looks like us.
No, he smells like. He smells like us, not you, us.
Okay. Got it. So
Great.
should we try to start hunting down more of you?
What? No,
No?
that's a terrible idea. We almost got killed today.
Yeah. I'm aware. We were there together.
And why am I the only one treating this with the level of severity it deserves?
I'm still processing. I don't know
Process
what
faster.
happened. I didn't know you could just grow my fucking hand back.
Neither did we.
Oh my god. I duck in an alley because I'm starting to show.
You're obviously
Visible.
flustered. You see people in the street clearly avoiding you because you are rambling to yourself in a street.
Yeah, so duck down. You're like, all right. Square one. Let's talk this through. Do you know what those things were? The shadow people or whatever.
Do you? No!
Just trying to get answers.
This is what I imagine having kids is like.
No, Jake's is what kids is like. This is something
Having a
entirely
hole
different.
through their chest. All right. So the big one, he mentioned that there were other people, I assume, that are like us, and there are people that died. I think he said 3.
Is there a question here?
I'm just writing things out. I'm trying to place everything before us.
What?
So that means we're one of the 20.
If
So
there
there
are
are more.
20,
All right, let's just go back to the bakery for now. We'll
that
talk
is
about
the
this.
first thing you've said that has made sense all night.
And you see it literally, it kind of jerks one of your legs out of the alley and begins making you to walk towards the bakery. You can tell it
Okay.
is deeply frustrated. You keep getting these waves of like pure annoyance from the creature inside of you.
This is I believe this is the first time that it's actually controlled a part of me without.
It's the first time
Me-
it's done it while you've been conscious, and it's a little weird.
Yeah.
You're like, whoa, okay.
Be like, what would you like to walk? Because am I not doing a good enough job?
You're not walking fast enough.
All right.
Like dragging your feet.
Then I'd let him have control of my legs, I guess, for just a little bit. Just Whatever.
You get the idea just from the pace it's at. It is deeply annoyed and needs to walk it off. Literally needs to use your legs to walk it off.
all right. I'll let him blow some steam.
You see, at this point, like he starts at like a frustrated jostle and then eventually breaks into a full-blown sprint. And your lungs are going by the end of it. But you also see it feels a little better after a good run. It feels a little more back in its common sense. And you feel it kind of retract back into you.
Okay. So did we make it like just before the store?
You arrive at the bakery, but you are like breathing heavily. You are out of breath. You are like grabbing the doorknob and kind of leaning your body against the frame. So like,
I'd like to stop shy of it so that way my employees don't see me.
well, so you know that everyone's gone home by now. Like it's
Okay.
it's late evening. The store is certainly closed. As you kind of go to the bakery, you do see a note written by God, I gotta pull up his name. Tannen. That is just saying, close up shop. Everything's done. Everything's prepped for tomorrow. Go home. You also see that Tannen has already received your delivery.
Sweet. All right, I go in the shop, make sure that everything's hooked up properly.
Make an investigation check for me.
Ooh, 19.
A 19. Oh, yeah. So you look at the oven and you see it is meticulously placed. Everything is, you notice that like the actual gas line into it has been sealed. It is proper. Like the aether is flowing properly through it. There's no concerns of a leak. There's no concerns of, a back, like what's it called? Essentially, you're not worried about it causing an explosion at this point. You realize that this is like perfectly installed. It may have been even better installed than the first time you had one put in here.
Okay.
It's not ideal in terms of like what you were dreaming of, but it's sufficient. It'll suffice until you are able to raise enough money for a better oven again.
Okay.
But it does the trick.
So, like, 1 out of 5, how close is it to the other ones I have?
3. Like, so it's 5 out of 5 to the other ones, but you had bought that brand new one because you needed a better oven, and now you're back at just having an extra of these ovens.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Is the other one still in the back alleyway?
You
well,
want to go check?
Yeah.
Okay. You open it and you see the oven is missing. It is not there.
And would I be able to tell in any way if it was taken by the repairmen? Like, do I see dolly marks?
Make an investigation check. or perception, your choice.
Really matter. Option, why not? Nope. 7.
With the 7, it's blatantly apparent. You see a note on the door towards the alleyway saying, other oven not there upon delivery. We did what we could.
All right.
Which in the back of your mind means that someone else has taken the defective oven, and you really hope someone doesn't use the defective oven anytime soon. But
You'll just hear about an explosion,
In
3
hindsight,
blocks
probably
away.
should have wrote a note.
in
To the oven.
hindsight, you absolutely should have, but you didn't. So
But I'll find out who stole my.
It's fine. It's just like
absolutely.
just like any other time you've lost like a pet or something. I shouldn't have tied my horse up.
I'm not making ovens his new pets. You can't just blow an oven every time something
He's
happens.
gonna lose an oven all the time. It costs about the same.
Wait, what did he do with his pets?
Past campaigns, remember he tied his horse up outside and the
No,
building
Steve said he
crumbled
can't
on it.
blow an oven.
Oh,
I just didn't know
oh!
what he was doing with his pets.
Wow, that's hot.
Carbuncle was more than a friend to me.
Probably gonna
Anyway.
rock through that creature. Anyway, so with that though, you get the idea that no, everything's all tidied and ready to go.
Okay. Did they clean up the shop a little bit? Or
You get the idea that Tannen has like absolutely spent time along with Rochelle to kind of get everything tidied and prepared and ready for the next day. It's honestly between the two of them more meticulous than you would have done. You get the idea. Make a quick insight check.
I need to give them a fucking. Ah, son of a whore.
Yeah. What'd you roll,
That was-
buddy?
That was a 1.
Whoa. No, it's better than you would have done. You know that bit at least. That's the portion that you're familiar with. Is like, oh, they did a really good job. They've absolutely cleaned this up. I wouldn't have spent this much time here.
Okay. I'd make a note that I should probably put a little bit extra in their paycheck for this kind of thing.
Oh, absolutely. You do.
Okay.
Do you do anything else before you head home for the evening?
Just make sure everything's tended to. Make sure the back door is locked.
You relock the back door after coming in from the alley. You're just like, okay.
Yeah.
On the way through, make sure that the ovens are turned off. Everything's turned off, turned down.
Absolutely. Everything's already been shut down from your... so they literally left you nothing to do.
Okay. And then head back out through the front door and lock her up tight.
Fantastic. You do so, the keys jingle, and there's that familiar, like, bang, bang you have to do with the door to get it back into the right frame, but it's perfect. It locks up.
Okay.
All right. And you begin walking your way home, I presume.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Alfred and Karsa. What are you doing? I haven't looked at the Discord chat, and I'm afraid to.
So
So
what are we doing?
Don't.
One of those.
there's
you
37.
Dope.
Don't bother.
Don't even bother with it.
While we were, you said there were like 3 people that disappeared like during that battle. Were they like the same way that like they went invisible? But
Oh fuck! I fucked up the thing. Oh no! Give me 2
I
seconds.
remember back during the battle. So Karsa, because Karsa's still standing there, we had our little talk. People walk off.
Mhm.
About 2 minutes before that, 3 minutes before that, some girl started screaming and then vanished, and her scream vanished with it. Right?
Yes.
I'm gonna turn back and look over there. Any idea what happened?
Ooh, make an investigation or insight check.
Then, as I look back initially, and don't see anyone. I'm like, Alfred, investigation or which one?
Or insight.
Why can't I spell? There it is.
Can't even
Insight
spell
12.
investigation.
But as I'm looking back and pondering, like, do you see what happened to those people, those children that were back there? 12.
Okay.
Kazu, what children are you speaking of?
A woman that screamed, and then her scream of terror ended abruptly as she vanished.
That sounds fascinating. I'd forgotten that. I'm also gonna look.
Investigation or insight.
Okay, okay. 13.
13? 13.
13. Yep.
13's just enough. Both of you get the idea. They were taken by the shadows. Those people were yanked by whatever shadow creatures you had been fighting into the shadows and have since disappeared.
Of course, I'm going to have to say I'm beginning to believe at least some of these street meat-laden machinations your mind have been spewing. And I will say that the thought of unsuspecting people being gripped into the unending darkness of the shadow by these creatures is quite fascinating. So I will entertain this train of thought. What's your hypothesis? What's your theory? Where did the people go? They couldn't have just disappeared. They
what
had to
is
go somewhere.
hypothesis? And I don't know if I have one.
Sorry. Make thinky. Where people go, make thinky.
Okay. Where they went? I don't know, I was hoping you could tell me. I believe I have torch on me.
A torch?
Can I?
I probably have a
Can I-
torch, right?
Oh,
I have a
certainly.
torch. We'll say I have a torch. I'm gonna take a torch, and I want to. Are the lanterns open? Like, can I
No.
just light it with the lantern?
There's little glass cages around them.
Okay, then I will do the old
You
school.
best believe I'm just gonna light that fucker on fire with a cantrip. Come on, buddy. We're a
Ah.
team.
I forgot you could do that. And I want to go to the shadows where those people disappeared. And I want to like kind of push the shadows away with the torch and kind of. I probably look like a crazy person. This
100%.
8-foot tall monster like swinging a torch through the shadows, streets of the Grand Market. But any hint of where they went? He's thinking like they're in the shadows.
And then the constable appears.
No, you actually see Alfred explaining that it's part of the act. It's part of the act. Don't worry. As you begin moving it around, you see the shadows recoil like they normally would from flame. There's no differences here. Make a quick perception check for me, though.
You find no less than
14.
6 dead bodies.
14, you do find a long, delicate finger with a ring attached to it.
Oh, God.
I will use my small fingers and pick it up, and I'll hand it to Alfred.
Oh my lord, how macabre! Oh,
You're welcome.
what horrible misery befell this beautiful, dainty hand? What
I was
misery?
hoping you were saying that. I was hoping you were going to say the ring was disgusting. You're like,
God,
it's such a terrible ring.
TARDIS beyond belief.
What can you tell me about it?
Okay, so I'm gonna. Can I take a peek at that hand? What's the wound look like?
Oh, it's
Is
just a
it like
finger. It's
sheared
literally just a finger with a ring
Mhm.
at the very end of it.
Yeah, what I know, but the fingers come from some. It's not a finger that just grew
You
out of the
said
ground.
look at the hand. Anyway, no, looking
No,
at the...
I said look at the finger.
No, I
You
got
said,
this
look
for
at the
recording.
wound. You said
The
wound.
Wound. That makes sense. I thought you said hand. I was like, what?
You know, the
Look
end
at
of the finger.
wound.
All right. You see that it is, like, make a medicine check for me. There we go. Simplest way to
Alright.
nut this out.
You mean delay time so you can look up?
Wait
Wait,
till you read the chat.
No, just to give you
Speaking of
exactly how much you're looking at here.
14.
14's all right. It like it's clearly been severed, but it has not been severed cleanly. It's not by a blade. It's
That's what
not.
I'm asking.
That's what I'm telling you. Is you get this much at least. Is It's been severed. It's not severed cleanly. It's almost like it was ripped or snapped off.
Oh,
Eesh.
You get the idea. Whatever this was, it was definitely more blunt trauma than it was like surgical precision.
of course. This is fascinating. This appears to be just anguish, torn, peeled from the hand. It wasn't meticulously sliced or surgically removed. It left as
if by the hands of a beast. Good.
yes.
I know how to slay beasts. Does the ring tell you anything?
I'm gonna look at the ring.
Oh, it's pretty easy. You look at the inside. You see the inside says "Love you forever, Gene from Paul."
Oh.
Oh, the deceased lover. How horrid. How macabre. It appears this ring, this finger, has a widow.
I wonder why they chose to try and stab and kill some, but take and dismember others.
I wonder if possibly, if we're entertaining the outright cosmic horror of shadow creatures, if possible, this is an opening, a tear, a rift in our universe, and through which a person was dragged, riddled with anguish and fear, and as they reached back toward the only world they'd known, that gate closed, severing the finger like a hand of a drunken man in a bar, thinking that sticking his finger in the little crease in the door is probably like a cool idea.
I saw no gate. I see no gate. Do you see a gate that I do not see?
I'm not a mineral expert, but I feel as though we should entertain all possibility. And in doing so, maybe we will find an understanding of this. But my question is, if we wave that torch around a little more, do all of the shadows match?
Oh, and
Does
with the
everything
torch,
here cast one?
to this, still, everyone that walks by,
Oh, of
Carson
course.
looks down for a shadow. Like, he's a shadow-looking guy.
Absolutely. Like your focus isn't on niceties. It is check.
Instead of people watching, is shadow watching.
Correct. As you're walking, you don't see anyone that has a shadow that is different from normal. Nothing appears to be out of the norm for you.
Well, at least we're safe enough to investigate.
You do note, make an Arcana check for me, Karza.
10.
10's enough. So you see in the area you were investigating, the one by the booth where the people had disappeared, you actually see several of the soot sprites crying and consoling each other and kind of holding and pointing at what that dark, shadowy black area.
I will start marching that way.
Mhm.
And Alfred, I think we have a lead.
By all means, lead away.
Walk over to him. You said they're pointing to a shadow, like the area where we were. That's where they were pointing.
They were pointing where the people had been grabbed.
Okay. Do you know what took the people where they are? Have you seen this gate?
As you're talking to them, they don't look at you. They don't seem to notice your presence.
Hello, you try. To Alfred.
Alfred, you don't see anything.
I'm afraid I can't try what I can't see, sir. I have no idea what you're requesting.
They do not see me. You do not see them. I like when I could just swing my sword at things.
It's far simpler.
Well, I don't know what to do. You find me people.
What kind of people?
I don't know. Carson's clearly frustrated.
Well, if there is a place to determine the stories and interests of those of the city folk, I believe maybe the tavern is in order.
After you.
Are you returning to the same tavern? Are you...
I would go to the closest one.
Okay.
Follow him. 'Cause he
No,
probably knows
I
where
will
that
know
is.
the closest tavern to the Grand Market is a very different affair than the taverns down in Long Shadow or near
Okay.
Long Shadow.
Yep.
You get the idea. Dress as Karsa is, even as yourself, as you are not in your, you're in your shabbiest clothing at this point, and like you've been traveling, you're not in your nines. Like this is not the most expensive thing you own. You might not be allowed access.
Right.
Fantastic.
Never stop me.
All right. Okay, let me see what the closest bar is. Perfect. So you arrive at the tavern. And it's less at this point. It's not. Tavern is a very loose description for this place. It's fine dining establishment is closer and more accurate. It is all the trappings of a tavern. It absolutely has performers. It absolutely has food and has warmth, and it has in this place also has room and lodge. But you get the idea that like that's more for like those rooms are reserved. You get the idea that that's not for the average person to kind of sit, squabble, and take a seat here. However, fine dining is available. Entertainment is available. The establishment is known as the Silver Spoon. You see, it is this gigantic building that, while the rest of the Central Market, or rather the Grand Market, looks modern and sleek and like, it's decked out in the most expensive materials. This place has an air of like, it's very boho bougie, where it's definitely like, oh, we use older materials, but because that's got a retro feel. You know what I mean?
Whatever you want, it's not going to get served on a plate. It's going to get served on a repurposed hubcap that we found in a little bohemian dump found outside of the city.
You get that
Yeah,
idea,
rent's
yes.
on the rise. Who gives a fuck?
It's very similar to that, where like they will serve your food in a literal crow's nest because that's just like aesthetically pleasing. You arrive at this location. You see this very.
I'm gonna whack Karsa's chest and say, "Follow my lead, grunt when grunted to."
Okay. So you approach and you see this very tall, very slender tabaxi looking at you. And you see it is dressed in this large flowing suit coat. It has a very tall ballroom hat. And it has a straight up tuxedo bow tie on.
Okay. Has he noticed me? Have they noticed me? Right?
Immediately, as you are moving with Karsa towards this place, you see his eyes flick from the line of people who are attempting to get in, who are also in very regal attire or like in very fancy clothing. His eyes flick to you and Karsa immediately as a threat, not a patron.
Awesome. So that's the insight I have of him, is that he interprets us as a threat.
Immediately, yes.
All right. So I'm going to dart past, make my approach. I'm going to be very dismissive, looking down at my book, looking toward him as an afterthought to give the impression that we're not necessarily a threat, but keep on your toes, Tabaxi. And I'm going to just stand in front of him.
Okay. He intentionally does not notice your appearance. Like, he sees you, but he's not seeing you, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
He continues to not acknowledge your presence.
I grunt at Corsto.
You awkwardly grunt back.
Look threatening.
You should strike a slightly weird pose.
A
Doesn't look
slightly
any more
weird
threatening.
pose?
It's no more threatening than it was.
Oh, it's just a different stance. The Khajiit stares without staring.
The what?
Sorry, Khajiit. Jesus, the Tabaxi. The two are in my head interchangeably, and it's awful. Sorry. The Tabaxi continues to stare without staring.
I apologize. I was trying to allow you the opportunity, but you are going to make us late. So if we could move this along.
Momo does not understand what you are saying.
I see the way you look at me, the way you look at us. You're perceiving us in a way that I'm just some wretched street drifter covered in dirt and soot from the ashes of 1,000 cities. And while that may be true, and my companion here, Karsa, is definitely covered in the viscera of those he has slain and more skulls cracked than you have cracked bottles of champagne, the reality is we are here for the sole purpose of the patrons. We're here to perform. And if you don't mind, my bodyguard will be accompanying me inside, but I'll be putting on my 2100 performance right on time if you'll open the door, please.
Mohamed already has a performer tonight.
Well, unfortunately for them, they weren't going to put on nearly as good a show as we are.
Really? He's one of the most foremost authors in this area. He's a master of horror and macabre.
Oh, so I am on the schedule. Fantastic. Wonderful.
Unless your name is. And he pulls out a little scroll, and you realize this is your greatest rival. This is the man who has haunted your life. This is someone who regularly talks shit about you in the papers.
Whose name is...
You didn't get it to me, so I need you to make it up, motherfucker.
God damn it. It's in my documents. I'm so sorry. I know.
Let this be a lesson to the rest of you. Get me your shit.
Dinkelberg.
Whoa.
His name's Dinkelberg.
Dinkelberg.
Bergie Dinkle. Oh, man.
Oh my god. I can't find it. I can't find it.
All right, fine. I'm
could've
calling
sworn it was in
Edward Bergelman.
No! No!
No,
Can't be
no.
Edward.
His name is Eddie. Eddie Bergelman.
Where's my... Isn't it like an allies?
Is
Oh,
it?
you put it in
You
there?
tell me.
There we go. It is. It's an enemies in my notes on my character sheet. You son
Sorry,
of a bitch.
You're right. I just pulled out the.
You son of a bitch.
Yeah, could you give me that name? Because I just pulled out the others.
Colin Mayhew.
Oh, I thought it was your mentor, not your.
No,
Because he was under allies, wasn't he?
no, he is not.
Cool. We're gonna. All right. So Colin
Enemies.
is. Oh, so you still have to get me the other guy then. You have to get me your mentor. Because your mentor's not there.
I'll get you that.
Thank you. All right. So you see on the scroll.
Dwemer. Dwemer is his mentor.
Dwemer?
It's in Dwemer. Yeah, it's in the notes.
Thank you. I'm adding that. What's his last name?
I got you, dude.
What's his last name?
This is people watching this later. This is all my fault. I should.
What's his last name?
He doesn't have one.
Okay, perfect. All right. All right, so you do see Colin Mayhew is the performing artist this evening.
Dare you say that a man that has scribbled such hackish a draw as the Cyclops Eye is a master of horror? He would not know scary, terrifying, or the macabre if it jumped up and scared the living shit out of him. That man has about the same grandiosity as looking deep into the cesspool that is a running toilet. There is enough waste of time in this world for
while
the
you are
fine
still
patrons of the Silver
talking,
Spoon.
You see this. Did you have a race figure general idea for what this person looked like?
He's a half. No, he's a halfling.
Okay,
That's
so
it. Go nuts.
you see a small halfling man walk out of the restaurant, begin lighting up a cigarette, and he goes,
Just
"Oh, is that you, Alfred?"
Colin. Oh, Colin. Hey, how have you been?
There's only
Writing
one
along
person
lately?
who could think that horror would require verbosity, and his name is Alfred.
Unfortunately, Alfred's specifically the one you speak of, I'm sure, with not nearly as much.
There are
gravity.
two of you? Ugh.
I said grunt when grunted at. Now's not the time.
Good day, sir.
Colin, how did your book do last summer? What was that called? How many copies did that one get out?
If I recall correctly, it published more than yours the week before.
The week before, but the week after, maybe, mayhaps. What are your numbers looking like?
You see him pivot from Alfred, and he looks over at Karsa, and he goes, I don't think we've been introduced. It is a pleasure to meet you. My name is Colin.
I look at Alfred, and I go, name's Karsa.
You
Hello,
see,
Karsa.
when you put pen to paper and try to, what's a good word for it? Dribble out, or spew is probably good, the inaccurate display of gore and viscera that you tend to believe is skillful writing, I actually use reference.
Karsa,
And please, allow me to introduce
can I
my
ask you a
reference.
question?
Karsa, introduce yourself to the piss writer.
Karsa, what's your
Karsa,
question?
does Alfred scare you?
Not more than you. I have a question now for you. Have
By
you
all
seen
means.
the moon rats or the shadow people? I look at Alfred, and it seems like he'll be of no use to us.
He rarely is. Anyway, Karsa's speaking about my latest tale. Unfortunately, it's a little outside of your league. So if you'd like to go back inside once you've finished your little death stick dribble
You see him
you
flick
can
some of
smell
the
like an
ashes at your
ashtray.
suit.
elsewhere.
He just kind of hits you with some of the ashes, and he goes, I see. Well, it looks like your most recent tale has you dressed just about as well as your characters are described. Farewell. And he walks into the door.
Well, my fine feline friend, it appears you booked the most boring, plastic, painfully drab act you can possibly get. And I feel that this probably suits your audience. So I will bid you adieu. But remember, if they are looking for true terror, true fear, they'll contact Alfred P. Wells next time they're booking and leave Colin Mayhew to ramble and scramble on shitty little pieces of paper in the gutter where he belongs. Karsa, shall we?
What? So no drinks? Ah, fuck.
Not in this establishment. They pay for subpar entertainment.
You see Momed, like for a moment, looks at you, like with like a scowl, and then looks back at the crowd of people coming in. Yes, this is all very well and good. Are you leaving at this time? If not, I will be forced to ask you to leave the premises.
Am I leaving or I'm forcing you to leave? Oh, okay.
It's either you leave voluntarily or I remove you myself.
No, actually, I'm looking to actually get a better description of what it looks like to watch a cat have its legs and tails torn off while it's still alive and conscious. And in fact, today seems like it could be that day. Karsa, are you feeling a little frisky? My pen just was re-inked.
You see it kind of. You see Momed kind of lean over.
Can I roll intimidate, please?
Absolutely.
And
Awesome.
Karsa just bares his filed teeth, if that gives advantage.
Well, I got a 24 off the roll, so
Is that a crit?
no, it's not.
You see Momed for a moment reel back and then touch his bow tie and begin whispering. And I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
That motherfucker crit.
16.
16? You just barely resist the effects of a command person spell.
Okay, I'm gonna get within like an uncomfortable proximity to him, and just say, "Cute, cute." Kasha, let's go. We will find drinks at a finer establishment. Yeah, we're going home, Karsa.
One with more fist fights? Yeah.
Yes,
Let's go.
yes, viscera, blood, gore, maybe even street meat.
So you leave the Silver Spoon.
For now.
For now.
We weren't thrown out. We walked.
We walked
Correct.
out. Yeah,
Which
you're
means they
damn
can't ban
right.
us. They can't ban us.
Cops never came and issued a trespass notice. We didn't trespass. We get another shot at that later.
Okay. So what do you do now?
So I guess my goal, I would like to express to you my goal. My goal is that I kind of want to talk, or I want to just chat around, and like I want to find a performance space where we can earn a little coin quite quickly. Because I do want to perform, but I want to leverage that performance as a way to gathering intelligence. Where can we go to do that? That isn't just necessarily going back to the same shitty tavern over and over and over again.
You do have a standing arrangement with that previous tower, with the previous tavern, the last call. That is, they're letting you stay there rent free by performing.
Okay, then that's fine. I think then maybe we should do that.
So the other catch here is that so because it's Long Shadow, you're going to get information that is isolated to Long Shadow. If you perform elsewhere, you may get information related to the area that you're performing.
I was trying to perform at the marketplace because I figured if I was trying to recant the information that was happening to us today there, that's where I'd get better intelligence. But if this is a phenomenon, I mean, obviously,
This is not isolated to one.
I can't tabletop this.
What I will say is, as a character, you get the idea that there's nowhere in the grand market itself that will. Your status isn't high enough yet. You know that as a flat fact. You're an author, sure, but I mean, in the same way that like you can publish things on Amazon and consider yourself an author, like you're
I'm in a guild.
Absolutely.
I have a publisher.
Absolutely.
So
even then, it's not like
I'm not a self-published Amazon author. Thank you.
Your renown does not hit the same level as it would. Your renown's around that area at the time. The confidence you have is largely unearned for a lot of your own abilities.
I didn't hear that.
Undeserved swagger.
That's undeserved swagger. So essentially what I'm saying is that you as a player quasi and more as a character, or so you as a player definitely, and you as a character quasi get the idea that like Grand Market is almost certainly off bounds to you unless you have some means or mechanism that you didn't previously have besides your own skills and abilities.
But I mean, I'll go back to the
Long Shadow's fine.
There are.
That's what I'm going for. Is if there are other parts of town you want to try, you can.
If I'm not going to be able to get into the marketplace because that's going to be the closest area that has recently had that experience that I've had, I think going back to where you were, because he had the rat experience there, and maybe that's a thing that I can leverage there. You know.
So that's actually closer to where Simule is. You can do that neighborhood instead.
Oh yeah, I'd love to go to that neighborhood. I didn't know he was in a different neighborhood. Let's go.
So
to
absolutely. So you're the one you were staying at is in Long Shadow. Simule Shop is Grand Market adjacent. And the rat experience was even further. It was like Long Shadow adjacent. So
so close to that neighborhood. That's fine.
Oh, which one? Did you want Long Shadow adjacent or did you want Grand Market adjacent?
Grand Market adjacent.
Okay. Absolutely. What I'll do is we'll just kind of quickly go through that then. We say you absolutely find a place. I'll have you make a performance check just to see how things kind of go and how you're well received. And then from there, we can gauge how much information you get and what kind.
Okay, because I had like a whole thing prepared.
Oh, shit.
No, that's okay. We'll just condense it into me clicking once. I got a 10.
All right. No, I didn't realize you had a whole thing. If you have a whole thing, let's do that quickly. So you arrive at the tavern. They do agree to put you on stage. What do you do?
So, so as typical to a standard performance, I would have Corsa stand directly in front of me, and he's going to take a seat on a stool. He is going to act as my bodyguard for the show and bring an added level of tension to the vibe, right?
Okay.
So, I go up there, and I stand on stage, and I start going into my spiel of like, I'm here to deliver those who look for an experience of the macabre, a hint of danger, a hint of fear, a hint of illusion, of something close, but also near. And the minute people start thinking like that's the same thing, I use prestidigitation. I put out all of the lights in the room, one by one. So everyone's sitting in a dark room. And I say to them, imagine standing. You go to the market square, you look, flower shop here, cake shop there. Do I bring home that wonderful specimen of a baked good to my child? Has she earned it? I certainly think so. Ah, flowers for my love, my bequeathed. Do I pick those up to express my gratitude for them, my ongoing love forever and always? But as your hand reaches out toward the beautiful bouquet in front of you, I'm going to cast Dancing Lights, and a mysterious light starts to hum below me. Something reaches out back at you, and shadow reaches and grabs your arm. I cast Mage Hand. Gripped upon the ethereal plane is a mark of terror, the talons of darkness wrapping itself around your arm, and you feel it dragging you into the dark, the beautiful lit world ahead of you beginning to fade deeper and deeper into a tunnel. You look, terror, blood, tears stream your mascara down your face, the burning sensation in your eyes, and with one final hope, you reach a ringed hand out, just as the world of gloom closes around you. And but for hope, did possibly a hand, a wrist, a finger make it outside of the darkness? Unfortunate for you, yes it did. And then I produce the severed finger. With Mage Hand,
Oh,
and it floats in front of them. And then I turn all the lights back on, and I have the Mage Hand tuck the finger back in my pocket.
make a quick percentile roll.
Please tell me somebody's
Okay.
like, I recognize that ring.
Dude,
Oh,
that would be
God.
the greatest terror show of all time.
That would, wouldn't it?
Okay, hold on.
I gave that ring to my
The whole
wife.
time, Karsa was just drinking a pint of ale and eating some
12%.
braised meat with bones in it.
Sorry, what was that, JR?
12%.
Oh, all right, we're good.
Out of 100?
Out of
Yeah.
100.
Oh my.
No, nothing happens, but the crowd does kind of gasp and ooh and ahs and titters, and seems deeply amused by what you had done. You get the idea that yes, that was better than a 10 as a performance roll. Yes, you get the idea that they are genuinely horrified, but also like there's still room for improvement. There's a couple pieces you recognize people's faces. They're like, well, he only made you hand one person. That seems weird. Like there's like little pieces like that. There's little critiques of your show where you're like, all right, I get
Plenty
it.
to improve the act.
But for your
And
first night
I-
performing it, it's very well received.
And I do want to express, like as I'm about to depart the stage and everything, you know, that moment of levity after like a big scare at a stage show and the
Mhm.
lights come back on and everyone's like, you know, if you've ever been to one, you're like, oh, thank God,
Yeah,
because the tension kind of ends.
yeah.
I tell them, I'm glad you enjoyed my little show, but unfortunately, it's based upon a true story. So the remainder of your evening, check the shadows around you. And mayhaps you see one out of place. Know that only I can see your safety. I'll be contactable at the end of the show.
You left out the real hero, and I just throw one of the bones out of my braised meat at him. Just go back to eating.
Just hits him in the head.
I'll write you in, Carsa. I'll write you in.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go now mingle with the crowd in the hopes that my show will have someone go, "Oh, my fucking cousin had something like," I'm trying to gather intelligence by putting on a show.
While he does that, Karsa's gonna act pretty engrossed in his food and drink, but really the eyes are looking for counting the shadows.
So while you're
Got a shadow.
you get momentarily frustrated when Alfred hits the lights. One, like there's this.
Oh
moment of,
my god.
Come on, I am trying to work.
One
didn't have my
big
drink yet,
shadow.
when they went out, I
Shoots
was
to the room,
like,
he's like,
Yeah, he's like, it's just you trying to catch as many as you can. You don't notice any of the shadows are any different than typical. As you're kind of feeding around for information, what I'll do is I'll have both of you roll percentile dice.
"7. That's got to be lucky.
Double sevens.
Double sevens.
Wait, are they both sevens?
77.
Yeah, 77.
Oh, you.
I rolled lucky number 13, so
That's
That's
my
not-
lucky number. That's literally my lucky number. Come on,
Okay.
Yahtzee.
All right, let me see what you get because I did actually prepare a bunch of fucking rumors. Okay. God, that's all right. Well, fine. So Alfred, you were listening around and you hear one guy in the corner goes, "Yeah, your shadows are scary, but like, has anyone else noticed the rats have been real weird lately? Like, strange."
Corsa can't even like fake it.
The three of you just snapped and looked at the camera immediately. It was great.
So honestly, the problem with this one is that I had wrote this. I had not intended you guys to encounter the other one so early, so this was going to be a rumor. But you've actually stumbled in this rumor retroactively. So you just hear one guy goes, "Yeah, the rats are real fucking weird." And like you now know there might be a reason for that. The
I want
other
to look at that guy. I want to look at the person who said that rumor and see if their face was one of the 20. I know it's not.
yeah, it's not. It's you do not recognize the face in this one.
Okay.
The other one you gather is that the museum is supposed to have an exhibition soon, and you get the general gist. You get the idea that the person you're listening to this from is actually a worker at the museum, and you get a few extra ditty bits about this piques your interest because it relates specifically to the area that Karsa is from.
Oh. So it piques
Geographically,
my or Karsa's
your interest
or both. Mine.
Yours, because I don't think Karsa has the general wherewithal, or like I'm thinking the rat
You can
thing
say he's
through
dumb.
Karsa enough. No, it's more that like there's nuance here, and that like
Okay.
you have to really parse out what they're saying and put those dots together, and that's kind of what's happening here. Is that you are reading between the lines. Karsa would just take everything at face value and be like, "All right, that's whatever." You
Okay.
I
want to talk with that person then, just right quick.
Okay, absolutely. You overheard them talking to another table. If you want to directly approach them, you can. It depends on how aggressive you want to be in getting this information, or assertive.
I'm just gonna like briefly approach him and say, "Sir, get a moment of your time, please.
Oh, absolutely. How can I help you?
Please, come take a seat with my associate and I. I'm just gathering research for a possible sequel to one of my novellas, and something that forgive me for eavesdropping. It's kind of a professional habit, but something you said piqued my interest and quite titillated my potential use for a story. Do you have a moment?
Certainly, yes. Yes. And he joins you at your table. He is very well dressed. He is wearing the traditional garb of the time. Well, traditional garb. He's wearing a suit. He's wearing a giant top hat. And you see that from his pocket, there's a little pocket watch that is ticking.
So he's the one that said that the rats have been behaving interesting.
No, this is the one that said something
Okay,
about relating to Karsa's home.
And what is Karsa's home? Because I don't know that off off. Rip.
So you are familiar that he comes from they're going to help me out because he is of the Tabor, and that's you just catch that bit. Is that you heard the name of his people, not necessarily the geographic location. You get the idea that the museum itself is putting out this expose is the wrong word. It's putting out this exhibit on the Tabor myths, legends, and associated lore of the area.
And he's a worker there?
Yes,
Or
the
he
person
just
you're
knows about
talking
the
to
exhibit?
is not just a worker, but one of the curators responsible for the exposition.
Okay. So I hear you're curating a possible museum expose, mayhaps?
We prefer the term
Describe that
exhibit,
to me.
but yes. In fact, your table friend here might be interested.
I'm sure he wouldn't. It's not meat related, right, Corsa? But I do think that it may be interesting to gather his input upon it.
What is an exhibit? Are there more Teblor here?
Oh no, certainly not. It's more bringing education to our people of the Teblor myths, legends, associated lore, and cultural differences. In this case, it's a unique exhibit of some of the more isolated Teblorian people. Is Teblorian the right plural? Is that correct, Kars? Could you
What is plural?
what would you refer to yourself? What is multiple of you called?
Of the
I think-
Teblor. There are three. Yes, we are the Teblor. There are three major tribes. I'm sure you sound like you know this. Is it focused on all of us, or is it my people, the Juttenholm?
No,
or
no,
the
no.
people of the Iceholm? or
It's the Iceholm, actually.
You have stuff that belongs to the Teblor of the Iceholm. Are you thief?
No, not stuff that belongs to them. Ideas, thoughts. In fact, he kind of looks around his shoulder. Make a quick persuasion check if you want to pursue this further.
11.
Okay. He starts getting second thoughts of telling anyone about this exhibit. He's like, well, I should-
Please, I think it's important for us to understand, especially as someone who's a cultural ambassador, to maybe speak upon it.
What did you call me?
if you want, you can make a persuasion check for Karsa if you would like, or you can give Karsa advantage, your choice.
Oh, good thing I rolled perception accidentally. I'm gonna roll persuasion this time.
Cool.
And I'm gonna fucking crit, baby!
Holy shit. Okay. With a crit, you see him gesture towards you, and he's like, do you have a piece of paper?
I always have a piece of paper, of course.
And you see him again drawing and doodling, and he goes, so what we stumbled on is that there is this this creature, this entity that is known among the Iceholm people of the Teblor, but not among the others. It's interesting,
Fascinating.
that didn't diffuse between the two. From what we gain insightfully, it's because they don't typically the people of Iceholm don't typically talk to the other strata of Teblor. That's just not something they typically engage in. They're very secretive. They keep to themselves, and the things they are familiar with and are aware of, they tend to isolate among themselves. And we're not quite certain whether this is out of self-preservation or if this is out of just isolationism policy in general. We're not quite certain, but they do have something similar to this. And he pushes a drawing forward of this gigantic creature that has multiple arms. Karsa is deeply familiar with this creature, having encountered one before.
What do I recognize?
Looking at it, you see, and it's a really rough drawing. You like having seen it in person, you get the idea that this drawing does not do it justice. In fact, it's more like it would be like an elementary kid trying to draw a tiger, but not presenting all of the danger that tiger poses to anything.
Its arms are at least twice as thick as this, and obviously this was drawn by a child who's never seen one, huh?
You recognize this as the creature that had ruined the mind of Dellum. This thing is, even to you, like, this was previously unknown to your people. This thing is terrifying. And having experienced it firsthand, there aren't things that give Karsa fear. This is, you feel the hairs on the back of your neck stand up on seeing just the picture of this, because you remember the ferocity that this thing had.
It's more desire for revenge, fear, I might
I'll say it's a mix of both. It's that, like, you feel your adrenaline spike, and you know, as far as that feeling goes, it's definitely more towards like, I need to hit something now.
Excitement. What do you call these? Do you know any more about them?
Alfred starts documenting his reaction, like, to each tiny note in minutia, because I've never seen him this agitated.
You know what it is and where to find it.
Well, so we don't know the Tiblorian words. We've kind of come up with our own designation. But from what we get the general gist of, it's probably like located in Iceholm. Excuse me. Sorry.
Iceholm.
Sorry, as the pronunciation slips my mind occasionally.
What do you call it?
Well, so I mean, we don't really have a name so much as like we in our research we've called it an entity. We've called it, we've added code names. We haven't really because we don't know what the formal name is, right? It'd be rude of us to name a creature that already has a name.
True. I do not need its name to kill it. Where can I find it?
Kill it. Cos, I hate to tell you this. It's a myth. It's a legend. It's a creature of superstition.
Not. I saw one not more than a few months ago.
You see the blood drain out of this man's face. You see.
I turn to him rapidly.
You see him shiver and chill, and he's like, "You're not. Surely you jest, correct?"
Could you describe to me what you're feeling right now?
Do not jest.
No? All right.
Took the mind from one of my friends with one powerful blow. And it ran before I had a chance to return the favor.
You see this gentleman grab Alfred's book and begin writing these notes down in keeping his own records. Go on, please explain. Tell me about your encounter with this creature.
It was pinned under a rock for who knows how many hundreds of years. We decided to lift the rock and free it, and as we did, it struck my friend. He's only slightly smaller than me. He flew against a rock, cracked both the rock and his head. His mind was never the same, and within a couple weeks, it was over for him.
But
I want my revenge. Tell me, where do you find this creature? You say the Iceholm know more about it.
Yes. Rather, they're the ones who've described it. But Casa, this is a creature hundreds of years old, if not centuries. If that's the case, there is no fighting it.
I show my teeth. Yeah, there is. I just need to find it. And then I look at Alfred, and then you will witness.
Carson, maybe...
His teeth are showing. His confidence seems like just top notch. Like, yeah, I know he's like his adrenaline spiked, but this is what he's at. This is what he wants.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm into this. This is rad.
So he sits.
Mayhaps is there a time we can possibly view this exhibit with you? Maybe speak more in depth about the potential realism.
We could go tonight. It's closed, and I wouldn't mind taking you myself, especially if what you were telling me, Carson, is true. I feel obligated to at least let you know what you've encountered.
Let us go.
You see him kind of leave. He gets up. He pays his tab at the bar. You see his legs are shaking. He is visibly scared. You get the idea that like what was the ha 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 funny myths and legends has now become that's not a fucking joke. That's not this is real. This is okay. All right, great.
This is a neat little story to tell.
Yeah,
oh my
this is
god.
no longer just a bottled little yeah. So you see him trembling, and it doesn't take you too long. He does lead you to one of the museums near the Royal Academy. It is this gigantic building with these stone marble pillars. It is shaped in a like how do I put this? It's almost like a Roman temple. It's very large. It's very gaudy. It's very arrogant in shape. But you see him take you along, and he unlocks the door. You see he has a key. Being one of the curators of this exhibit, you get the idea that like you're about to get an all access pass to like here is everything we know about this.
Yeah, I'm pumped.
So Casa, where to begin? I don't want to disagree with you. I don't. I've just met you and you are very intimidating, but you couldn't have seen this. This is a legend, a myth. This is something, you know, Icehold Teblor tell their children to scare them at night, you know, into behaving.
There are things you cannot see. Accept it or don't, I do not care. And I'm gonna. Do I know if I know the direction of the ice hole thing? I'm just gonna keep walking.
Okay, you do. He's trying to talk with Alfred, and he's like, "Listen, your Teblorian friend is very nice, and I'm amazed he's made it this far." I'm amazed he's made it this far south. But I genuinely, this is not real. Do you understand what I'm saying? It would be like
I'm gonna stop him while he's walking, and watch him, of course, gallivant further into the distance. And while he's walking away, I turn him toward me, and I say, "Corsa is many things. A fool is sometimes, a bit too brave in others. But if one thing is true, is that Corsa is not a liar. And I've never seen Corsa want to kill anything that didn't exist. For you, I understand. The last bastions of your sanity cling upon the thought that threats like this could never exist, or that death could not find its way to your doorstep in a manner such as this. But unfortunately, we have to explore this as if it would, because it very may well. If you wish to stay back, you may, but we will continue."
Well, I'm going. Honestly, you shouldn't be here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stand out by the front door. I'm going to make sure no one comes in and that you are left uninterrupted with your friend. Does that sound fine?
I appreciate your service greatly. We will let you know upon our departure what we've uncovered.
Of course. Well, good luck. And you see him dutifully take a seat in front of the museum door by this little chair stool, and he just kind of sits there and he fiddles with his watch. But you can see his hands are still shaking. He is very nervous. Karsa, you enter this room that is designed almost like a weird facsimile of a place you've only seen from a distance. You've never been to Iceholm. You get the general idea of what it probably looks like, but you also see a lot of Teblorian icons, weapons, things that like feel like home to you, but slight variations or inaccuracies, things that you're like, well, no, that's more along my people than it is of the Iceholm, or vice versa. But like the entire exhibit is set up in a way that it mimics unique region of Iceholm. First, you recognize there is just fake snow everywhere. Like someone has made fake snow, and you get the idea that because you're by the academy, you do feel a chill from it. There is this slight freeze in the air. You can see your breath as you walk into this exhibit. You also realize for the first time in many months, the exhibit is set to a day-night cycle. And for the first time in a long time, you can see the stars because there are no light pollution that is blocking them out. So you see the night sky hangs above this exhibit. And for all intents and purposes, it just feels like you're slightly north of home. There are these giant rocks that are jutting out of the exhibit, but you see on the rocks, there are these paintings and carvings. And like you see next to these carvings and next to these paintings, in common is their best approximation of what they are actually saying. And in your case, because you are a Teblor, you understand what they are saying. They clearly, someone has like ripped the exact carvings off of these rocks and runes that a Teblor has put on them. So you do catch some grammatical inaccuracies here and there. What you're seeing is familiar and also not. It is close to your people, but it isn't your people, if that makes sense.
Do I, giving that all a quick glance, do I see the thing, the creature, the monster, the myth that he was talking about?
Yes. So it is on this gigantic, big obsidian rock. You see written in red ink, and you get the idea that like back home, this is blood. This isn't red ink. This is blood. This is a blood warning. It is an outlier's tale of what you might have encountered. Your people keep referring to it as a thing, is the thing, a thing, the thing. You see that like, the museum curators have decided to give it a designation. That way, you know, they can just refer to it in a manner that isn't just vague. They have decided to term this creature as an Asfaraba.
Alfred is looking directly into the
Asfaraba.
directly up into the skylight toward the stars.
The night sky is different from the one you're familiar with. You are reminded of a certain promise you made not too long ago. And this is a different night sky, but the stars are still there all the same. But you notice as you walk in here, it's freezing. Like your breath catches in your chest for a moment. You're just like, whew. You just exhale this big plume of smoke. Both of you can make a Arcana investigation, straight intelligence history check, or religion. Any of those, your choice.
20 on an Arcana.
Okay.
Then
So, Carsey, you're having a harder time parsing out like the larger significance of this, other than your people describe its ferocity, its strength, its ability to decimate villages. In fact, you get the literal sense this creature decimated Iceholm. It took 1/10 of the population out before they were able to trap it. And that is all they could do. They could not destroy it. They could not stop it. They were only able to trap it. Alfred, you, because you have historical context, because you have stories, because you have these, horror draws from religious iconography often. It draws from a variety of sources. So you, as an individual, have to be somewhat well-versed in a variety of subjects. You pull together the reason that they gave it the designation Asfaraba is that it's because it's similar, at least in their minds, to another creature by the same name. If it's not the same entity. They're assuming that it is the same entity, but again, myths and legends, are there just cultural variations? Is this a little different? You get the idea that an Asfaraba, as historically defined, or rather as told in mythology, is a creature spawned from the emotion of a god, is a creature that is come into creation from a moment of pure emotion, from a deity that is experiencing emotion in a capacity that living creatures could not.
Okay.
So Asfaraba are these creatures inherently themselves of pure emotion, and they reflect that with a deity's level of power. They are, you've heard of Asfaraba of pure joy. You've heard them of pure anger. This one, the idea that they're kind of coming to is that this is a creature of pure fear manifest. It is a creature that at every moment of its existence is terror. It is scared always. It is constantly lashing out because it is frightened of everything. And it is frightened of everything with the level of strength that only a deity could have. So as it lashes out in fear, it destroys everything because it is scared of everything.
Corso, what are your thoughts?
It killed my friend. It will kill more of them. So we will kill it. It is just a matter of finding it.
Corso, you know what I find most fascinating? In fact, what I find most terrifying?
No. What?
How much this creature and I have in common.
I want to kill both of you. What else?
That's quite eloquent, Corso. Anyway, at your leisure, we can continue if you have more information you'd like to gather. This is an amazing exhibit. I'm thrilled to learn more about your people, even if it's only tangentially related to that of your tribe.
Looking around, like, I don't see any other clues here.
You get the general idea that the large exhibit is just kind of a demonstration of like, this is Tablorian ice home culture. This specific nugget is just something that he happened to recognize may have special significance. It's something that they find very interesting, but again, it was more of like a ha ha hee hee hoo hoo. Templar are afraid of this.
Yeah, looking around, otherwise, like, just completely unimpressed with just old junk.
Largely, and not even not junk from your people either. It is junk that has been made to replicate that of your people.
Okay.
You get the
So
idea
they didn't
that,
do
like,
a British Empire
you
thing.
get the idea that if they had tried, they would have been stomped into paste, as you are aware. Like, anyone who tries to take your stuff does not leave in any peace. Like,
Yeah.
so you get the idea that they essentially saw this from afar and went, "Let's make our best guess."
Well, I see nothing else of value here.
So I suppose we're going to make our way to the exit and thank our key holder for the private exhibit.
What I will say, Karsa, make a quick perception check for me.
There were no shadows to be found.
21.
Oh fuck. Okay.
Wow.
Karsa, as you see Alfred beginning to walk away and beginning to kind of make his way out of the exhibit, you sigh. You just go, all right. You feel that static ozone feeling again. That smell in the air of something not like an electrical fire. Like something's a little off. And you feel the hairs on your forearms begin standing up.
My sword is already out, as I say, Alfred. And I'm going to look for shadows.
You scan the room and you're looking at the ground. You're looking for shadows and you see one. You see something that doesn't have a shadow.
Immediately
Our
point
fucking
towards
whole
it.
game is turning into prop hunt.
You get running towards it and you stop as you see It is a large Tebloran figure looming as Baroth is pointing at a specific part of the giant obsidian stone.
I'm
I
going to
race to keep up with him.
I'm going to keep my eyes on him, on the Teblor, as I slowly back away with my sword like pointed between us. And then as I get closer, I'm going to look at the stone where he's pointing.
You see he's pointing at you. You remember lifting a rock off of this creature. You remember what you may have glossed over originally. In the image itself are these big, heavy, black chains. Chains that are now following you and have been for some time. And you see he looks at you meaningfully and then disappears.
I just bare my teeth again where he disappeared. And on the rock I see the chains? Or like an image of it?
You see these so on the rock you see binding this creature with these big black heavy chains.
Yeah. Okay. And do I see those following me?
Yes, you are aware
Okay.
of these large heavy
Yes.
chains, and you have been, but
Yes,
again,
yeah.
culturally,
Yeah.
Carsa? You've taken a battle stance. Should I be hiding?
Did you not see that
I'm
either?
behind you.
More and more, I'm worried you're one of the useless children. But as I put the blade away, don't worry, nothing will get you here in the dark. Let's go. Oh, actually, I want to go up to where the rock. I want to go up and touch the rock.
Okay.
And just make sure it's just a rock when I feel it, right?
you touch it and you realize it's made of plaster. It's not actually a rock. Someone just did this bitch up real nice.
All right. And the Teblor ghost disappeared, right?
Yes.
All right.
God, you got a 24 on the perception check?
21.
21? Okay. All right.
Well, Alfred, don't worry your ugly little head. Let's continue our investigations elsewhere.
I'll have you know I'm quite remarkably impressively handsome in two different cultures.
Not mine.
That's fair. I don't have the facial structure of a cinder block. Anyway, let's find our way out.
I will say,
How many more false exits are we gonna have?
you're good. All right. That's enough. You leave the exhibit. You see, again, that gentleman is sitting there still by the thing, tapping his toes, and he's like, is there anything else I can do for you? I hope that sheds some illumination on what I meant by that is largely a fable.
Quite illuminating. What an incredible experience. I very much appreciate your willingness to allow us to view such an incredible specimen and such a remarkable exhibit.
You have the
Even after
Yeti trap
hours.
installed upside down as I walk past.
You see him look, and he's just like, why? What? And you see him like begin walking back into the exhibit, like, oh shit.
He's
Flip
the
this.
expert. Have a good night.
He's already we open tomorrow. Okay. Do you do anything else with the remainder of your evening? At this point, it is very late.
I think we've accomplished everything we wanted to do.
Okay. Fair enough.
I got to perform. I'm thrilled.
Wonderful. All right. So what we'll do is if you guys want to take a quick 5-minute stand up, ache your bones, and then we'll come right back. We are going to start, I believe, with Edward going to work.
Oh boy, my new job, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Let's
Take
take
your
5.
antidepressants, everybody.
We'll gloss over a lot of the bad stuff.
Yeah.
Yada yada yada. Your wife hits you again. Yada yada yada. You get the
Yeah.
glass from the wine bottle out of you.
No,
Yada, yada,
everything's
you're at
good
work.
now. I brought something that was expensive.
Meanwhile, I'm going to
Oh,
look.
you think that lasts? That's adorable.
All right. So, Edward, picking up from where we were off. So you arrive outside of the offices. Again, it's a relatively tame morning. In fact, that you're like, because your wife drank less than usual last night, she's actually like decided to.
She went down a full bottle, 75%, not a full bottle.
It's closer to 80, but like not. A
Yeah.
She fortunately picked the one you half watered down.
You don't know
To
if that
save
was
money.
you don't know if that was by choice or design, but there you are.
Yeah.
God. So yikes. Anyway,
Yeah,
it's
that's the family. Yikes.
it's a pretty uneventful morning, all things considered. Like, you know, you weren't waking up by stray cats this morning. You got up at a reasonable hour. You got cleaned, dressed, ready to roll without any issues. And at this point, you know, your children have already had breakfast and they've kind of started their
Yay.
own days.
Is there? Oh wait, actually, I need to figure this out. Is there like some sort of school system that they actually go to, or no?
Yes and no, in that like,
Even if
yes,
it's not,
there's
like,
a school system.
great,
No, you can't afford it. Like,
Yeah.
So you've largely
Yeah, just some like people in the apartment, just like one's just like, I'm going to teach the kids. Like,
you've resorted to like apartment homeschooling, where like
yeah,
there is someone else there who is teaching your kids, but it's not great, and even you know that as you're kind of like
yeah.
correcting some of the things they've been taught when you have the time.
See, I have an abacus. Like,
Yeah. My God, it must have been 3 paychecks. So, with all of that being said, you do arrive at the law offices of Mephisto, Malacroth, and Locke, MML, as we are just going to summarize from now on.
it's easier to remember.
It is just MML. So you arrive at MML, and you already have an inkling of what's probably coming. So it comes as no surprise to you as you see Bagger kind of walk over, and he's just like, "Edward, boss man wants to see you in the office."
All right, thank you, Bagger.
No problem. And you see him like literally
Great day,
dragging a human across the floor as they're
Yeah.
kicking and screaming. They're like, "I don't want to go to hell. I don't want to go to hell."
Then you gotta read the fine print, man.
That seems kind of useless to tell me now. He's just getting dragged down the hall. You see Bagger at one point just punches him in the head and she's like, "Shut up." You arrive at the office and you realize it is this, like, you remember, you've been to Belfador's office before. Like, it's never a place you want to be.
No.
Like, you never hang out here. You're not comfortable with it. It is these giant mahogany doors that has this gold inlaid plaque of Belfador. You see someone has, like, jokingly put a sticky note next to it that says Hell's Middle Manager that he has just never taken down. But you knock at the door.
Yeah, it's praise. It's praise.
It is praise. But you knock at the door. And you hear a voice from inside just go,
Come in.
you push open the large, giant mahogany door. It slides
Yeah.
open.
I'm gonna be strong enough to really get it open all the way.
As you enter the room, it smells heavily of tobacco smoke and like spilled whiskey. It's a little stanky in here, not in a bad way, but it's definitely like it's like an office at Wall Street. It's just one of those like some dirty stank has happened here.
Like we're in the stock market room where everybody's just smoking cigars and
Correct.
drinking.
It's just a little bit of a little haze. But you enter and you see Belfador. Make an insight check for me.
Oh shit! I have to roll things.
Yes.
8. So yeah,
Belfador looks normal, pretty typical, all things considered. But he is dressed in a very formal suit today. But he is not wearing the normal hat. He's not wearing that large formal hat he typically does. You see today he is completely bald. Like, he's just like, there's no hat there. He has no hair. You've known he's bald for a long time. He is a large, gigantic red demon. So he kind of looks over you and he goes,
Edward, take a seat. We need to talk.
all right.
he pours out a glass of whiskey for you and he pushes it towards you.
Whoa.
In a gesture that is so much not an offer as like a demand.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy, take a seat. We need to talk.
Okay.
Edward, how long have you been working at this company?
2 years?
Not
Yeah.
jazzed you had to think about it, but yes. 2
No,
years.
it's me asking the DM if we were agreed upon that.
Yes, we did. It was 2 years.
Okay.
You see him like you did the in character. There was a moment of contemplation, but he's just like,
Like, it feels like it's been a while.
Yeah.
Listen, sometimes, as management, we have to come together as a team and treat each other in a family sort of way. So like one of us makes a mistake, right? And then as a family, we all kind of come together and we figure that mistake out because we care for each other here. You know, we're not just a business. We're family, right, Edward?
Yeah. Yep. We're family. Yep.
Great. I'm just gonna cut to it then. You should take some of that drink.
Just clink.
Great. So Baptist may have agreed to a contract that we're not all keen on, but we do have to respect and abide by the rules it has.
Yes, we abide by our contracts. Yes.
Of course. I can see why he might have thought this was a tempting offer. Upon further investigation, we may just need to make this work until it doesn't. But for the time being, you are going to be on loan for a while.
Okay. How does that affect my salary?
So that's part of the deal, Edward, and we're really
Oh,
hoping you're going to work with us here. So I do want to start with Baptist really screwed up. If we're being honest, we're going to be all cards on the table. Baptist fucked us up. So you just look at this contract for a minute, all right?
And you see he puts this piece of paper in front of you and you get the general gist. But the first, there's make an intelligence check for me.
My intelligence is terrible. Just straight intelligence.
Intelligence,
Not terrible.
or let's do, in your case, persuasion or deception, because you essentially, this is you reading the contract, going, all right, where's
the fine
fuckery?
print?
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Yeah, I'll go with deception. 21.
That's not the. God damn it! I thought we solved this problem. It was doing so well. So 21.
Yep.
Oh, all right, 21. You get the juicy bits right off the bat. So you see
Blackjack.
Yeah, so you see the parts where Baptist was almost certainly salivating, was like, best deal ever. So you see this contract in particular, there it really strikes your notice as the individual will sign this is, as previously mentioned, your new employer for the time being, or at least reported new employer, Professor Aiden Clayso, is the signee.
All right.
The terms wagered are your service in assistance of his research until the time he sees fit to end your services. What he is offering is 10,000 soul years to be paid in a period of no less than 10 years with an upfront cost of 5,000 of his own personal years as collateral. If within 10 years he does not offer up 10,000 soul years or the equivalent, he is forfeiting 5,000 of his own years.
I see where she fell into this.
That's
a lot of soul years. What the fuck?
Correction. I do want to make a quick correction here. That is 5,000 of his life years.
Yeah.
10,000 soul years.
Years, yeah. Okay. Okay.
Of note, the signee is human,
Yeah.
leading.
Nut doesn't have that many life
correct.
years. Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. This is signed on divine paper using infernal ink.
Yeah.
The statements within this document are as true as any party can make them.
Okay.
Also, the following provisions also apply. Edward is to be given whatever the signee deems necessary to complete this work as efficiently as possible. His family is to have a personal infernal detail to maintain their well-being, safety, and any of their immediate needs and wants in the time being.
Okay.
And there will be systemic improvements to his pay as the signee sees fit. You get the idea that there's a couple things that are striking to your boss here. And
Yeah.
first of all, there's a lot of fishiness here. This doesn't sound right, and how they're going to accomplish this is odd. Next, not super keen on him paying you whatever the signee feels is appropriate. So this is probably the part where he's asking you to play ball a little bit, where he's like, "Hey, we only have so much." Like, and realizing that you're not ultimately the one deciding how much is going to get paid here, but if you could put in a good word of maybe not bankrupt us.
Maybe don't say like how poorly you're being paid.
Not just how poorly, but also like just don't.
Yeah.
Maybe don't change your checks to platinum anytime soon, huh? Like. But the outlining rules are pretty clear. As long as you continue to perform service for the signee, you're temporarily on loan. When your services are no longer needed, you return to your regular position here.
Okay. However long that may be. Okay.
Correct. It also does note that any pay increases that have occurred during your temporary placement at this other assignment are permanent.
What? Carrots? Stick? Oh, God. All right. He's just like...
So I'm sure glancing this over, you saw a couple of issues. Listen, Edward, I'm going to be honest. We don't believe this is all on the level. We're not saying we're not going to hold up our end of the bargain, but we're also saying we're not going to do that, if you catch my drift. We have people looking this over. We have other people investigating. So for the time being, we're just asking you that you play ball. You are still responsible to come into work. You don't have to do your regular duties, but you do have to check in with us every so often. As mentioned in the provisions here, we do have to supply you with whatever your current employer believes is necessary for you to complete your job to his satisfaction. So he already did start with
you see him kind of clap his hands hesitantly, and you see someone bring in 2 arcane objects. He's like,
Edward, I'm just gonna need you to hold these in your hand. Just palms out.
All right.
Fantastic. And
you see him grab one of them, and it is a brand, and he stabs it into your hand, and it begins sizzling. And he goes,
"Hey, easy, buddy. It's only gonna hurt for a minute. Don't worry about it. Look at my eyes, not in my face. Look at my eyes, not in my face." Psst.
You are now level 2.
Hey!
The rest of you can now also increase your levels to level 2.
Oh, boy.
Pretty glad I didn't have to get a brand or anything to level up.
No, you just have to live with it inside you.
Oh.
So, with that, he goes,
so we're not sure how long this is going to go on for. We're obviously doing the best with what we can, and I assure you that Baptist has been dealt with in a manner that is appropriate. You are not going to see him around the office for a while, and I prefer that you don't mention other employees while we don't. That's my job.
Okay. Yeah,
Right.
respect for the individual.
Also, I'm going to ask you, just as a personal favor, I can't legally tell you to not disclose your pay to your other employees, but I can, as a personal favor, I would prefer that you didn't discuss your pay with your other employees. Is that okay? It just causes strife if you catch the gist. But again, if anyone asks, I'm not asking you to not tell
Yeah.
your employees.
You're advising.
Oh, no. I've been told I can't even say that much, but
Oh wow, shame.
there are laws. So, as a personal favor, you get where I'm going. I'm not asking you, but I'm asking you. You can-
Family.
Yep.
We're family. We're a
All right.
family here. Okay.
Family. Yep.
Fantastic. All right. Well, so your ride's here. So
Right.
we're just gonna. Oh yeah, there is a car parked out front. You were to get in that, and your employer is going to meet you shortly.
All right. Thank you, boss.
Well, so
We'll
I'm also
deal
not your
with this.
boss right now, so you can just call me Botheldor. Okay? Because we're a family. All right.
Yep.
I need you to leave now. Attaboy, sport.
I'm gonna down the rest of the drink.
He's just- He similarly pours himself a glass and then drinks from the
Yeah.
bottle.
Yeah. I just slam it back down on his desk.
And you begin to leave. You do notice there is a large black metallic vehicle that is puttering fumes from the back of it, and you see
Oh
a
god.
large red dragonborn figure who looks very familiar to you.
Oh. I'm assuming Rex.
That is
Rex?
correct. Yes.
Rex.
Edward. All right. Well, come on. In the car.
All right.
We've got a meeting.
Okay. I'm like
Put
wrap
the
my
hood
hand
on.
up. I like
the
wrap
hood
my hand. Like
Yeah.
uh,
Just covered up with some clean gauze.
yeah.
The rest of you, earlier this morning, have all been approached in a similar manner. However, each of you have been approached by the same large red dragonborn figure. Who wants to start that for each person? Cool. All right. Simuel.
Right on.
You wake up to a loud knocking at your door, and you're used to the usual wake up. This is not your wake up call.
I take Fat Chungus off of me, and I get up and I answer the door.
You see this large dragonborn figure, and he goes,
Is this Simuel Summus?
That would be I.
Fantastic. I have an employer who would like to discuss a potential business offer with you.
Okay.
If you were interested, I have a vehicle here. I can take you to them immediately.
I'd look into myself and be like, can I trust this motherfucker?
Why do you keep asking me about people I don't know?
Well, the last motherfucker you said looked like Starlight, so I don't fucking know, man. All right. What did he say again? Did he say he had a contract or something?
he didn't say he had a contract. He's saying he's willing to take you to his employer now to discuss the potential business offer.
Are there lights on behind me?
Yes, I assume so. Did you light your apartment up in
Yeah.
that context? Yes.
Yeah.
There are lights in your apartment.
Does he have a shadow?
He does have a shadow.
Okay. I suppose give me a minute to get my things together.
He does.
Do you mind if we make a stop by my bakery just to check in?
Your bakery has already been, we've made sure things are running. Just in case.
Okay. Forgive me for being skeptic, but how powerful is your employer?
if you were to go to work right now, you would find that they are performing street construction in front of your bakery, and they have asked everyone to evacuate just in case anything were to go wrong. Your bakery's closed today.
Okay. I will be with you shortly.
Okay.
I'm very nervous.
Karsa and Alfred.
Yes, sir.
You are both approached in a similar manner. Karsa, you recognize this figure. This figure is one of the 20 that you had seen on that board previously.
As he walks up, I will say, I recognize you. The rats know you.
That fucking makes one of us. What did you just say to me?
You'll have to
That's-
forgive him. He's quite interested in the conversations of street urchins. Not
I have
like
s-
literal rats. That'd be insane.
I have seen you, and quite literally, the moon rats, and a picture of you, and me, and him,
What
and
the
about
fuck is a moon rat?
17 others.
Ha-
Suffice it to say, I've seen you, and that means you can see things other people can't see. Why are you here?
I'm looking for a Karsa and Alfred.
I
No.
have present.
And I am Karsa.
Shit.
I'm Alfred,
All right.
I'm
Well, so okay. Well, Alfred, you seem like you've got your head on your shoulders. And you're less likely to talk to me about moon
That
rats.
can be fixed.
You're gonna take his head off his shoulders?
I'm just saying it could be fixed.
Just to be clear, I am probably equally as capable of speaking of moon rats. I just tend not to.
Great. Well,
Do you want
I'm
to?
not paid to ask questions, so that's fine. I have been told that my employer has a business opportunity for both of you, should you be interested. Alfred, he did want me to specify that this is not a monetary business opportunity. It is something that would pique your
You're losing
personal
me.
interest.
You're losing me. Yeah, it's fading. Starting to get really distant. I don't know.
The employer you work for, can you describe him? Physical appearance, as it may appear drawn on a piece of paper.
Human, kind of bookish, middle age, fading hairline, large spectacles.
Really losing me. Really losing me.
Does that
Does not match anyone on that big old list of people.
Anyway, so yes, Alfred, sorry. Your potential receipts lie more along the lines of familial inheritance that was denied to you.
Interest coming back. It's getting closer. All right. How do you do, interest? It's been a while. You're looking ravishing, interest.
My name is Rex. I don't know if I mentioned that when I first started this.
Rex, are you familiar with the concept of simile?
No.
Anyway, all right. Corsa, are you interested in following this character?
I will I will bend forward, look down at Rex.
It's not a deep bend. Rex is large, not as large as you, but is just maybe a head lower than you, but is
I'll slowly
equally
down a little-
built.
I'll peer like a little close and like look at his features. It is you. Do you see things others cannot? Have you seen the shadows?
I see you are way too close to me, and yes, I have seen the shadows. I have killed the shadows. I have captured the shadows.
You see him shaking a little jar.
Captured shadow.
The jar. I've seen this jar. Is that the same jar as the one I saw in the drawing?
Yes.
Yeah. What is this jar?
I'm sorry, what? It's a jar.
This jar. I have seen one in the drawings.
In the jar. What's in the jar?
Again, you keep a shadow is in this jar. You keep saying in the drawings. I don't know what you're talking about.
Do you mean a shadow is in the jar? Looking in the jar, do we see a shadow?
So you see, this jar is not translucent. It is pure
Oh.
pitch black. It is like if someone painted a mason jar with Vanta black and then wrote runes on top. The other jar you had seen had the same runes on top, but was translucent with a black inky creature inside of it.
I will go with you.
Fascinating. Well, I guess lead on. Caveat. You must make it known to your employer that we have prior arrangements to both garner interest and entertainment elsewhere. And on top of that, if at any point we find the business arrangement to not be in our favor or to lose interest, we reserve all right to leave.
Cut our
and
way out.
pursue our own interests.
Great. Do you want to get in the vehicle?
What is a vehicle?
Corsa, you know that tincture that I gave you when we took the boat, so you didn't make street meat all over the water?
Yes.
Take that, and then hop in the old. Hop in.
No. Whoa. Sorry, Alfred. You can get in the car. Carsa. I'm gonna call a wagon.
I'm right on top.
Too
It's no problem.
big for
But I'll go
this.
no-
No. It's really nice.
I was just literally
climbing
didn't
on top.
stop
You
him.
see- you see
Hop
the
on the
soft metal
jalopy.
begin denting. You
Oh.
see go, "Eh." So Edward, when you do actually come into the car, you see that the roof
Yeah.
is dented and cracked. Like there are splinters of glass from the window as cars just kind of
God.
and you see the
Are you
car rock
comfortable?
on its axis a little bit.
Great. That's fantastic. We'll just buff those scratches out, I guess. All right. Well, no time like the present.
And you see him flick this little switch, and you hear as like inside this very clear glass dome on the front of the vehicle, you see a little pocket plane open up, and you see a land of fire and flames produce the energy needed to actually pump the pistons in the vehicle to make the vehicle move forward.
It vibrates.
You see a
Hair
struggle to
flowing.
move. You see it struggle to move at first, and you see a plume of smoke come out of the back as it tries to get the necessary acceleration to move Carsa along.
Is all of the weight like
if
towards the
we-
back? Like
Yeah.
If he needs to hop off and push it a little, he can do that.
It's fine. It's fine.
As you see him like putting his foot on the gas as hard as he can. So it isn't long until all of you arrive at the Royal Academy of Edamore. The Royal Academy of Edamore looms arrogantly in front of you. These gigantic buildings made of brick and square-cut limestone, decorated with metallic metallic bronze. Sorry, guys, I was just thinking of porn while I was going through this narration. I was like, this narration
Henry.
is so sexy. So it is decorated with metallic bronze and copper facings that embellish the facade of the buildings in a manner that's both practical and elegant. The windows of the buildings mirror those of the clock tower in the center of town. There are these giant leaded windows made of stained glass that replicate the ever-shifting nature of the aether light in a slightly more static physical form. There's these massing and moving metallic structures that you can see on several of the buildings. Some of them are slowly gyrating in slow orbits around this fixed tracks, while others bend and twist in almost rhythmic patterns that might serve some purpose you're not familiar with. Does anyone speak Undercommon? Sorry, what?
I think JR does.
I do.
He's muted.
Okay, so for the rest of you,
I'm not muted. I'm sorry.
that's okay. So for the
I
rest of
shouted too
you,
loud.
you just see in these luminescent crystals inlaid on the limestone, complete gibberish. In Alfred's case, you recognize the words "in darkness, light."
Okay.
Illuminati shit.
Dark order. Like, jeez.
How familiar is Alfred with the city?
With what city?
This city.
No,
That's
I
like-
mean not terribly. Like he's a passing knowledge, but I wouldn't say that. Like
Do you want to make a quick history check?
sure. Oh shit! Hold on. I was leveling up.
shit.
History. You said?
Yeah.
10.
Oh, okay. All right. You don't know the origin of the phrase. You just know it's weird that that's an undercommon and that it's on a building. I can see Derek's balls. I don't think he realizes. Oh no, he did realize.
I
Panic.
don't know why that got bumped. I got a text, but I don't think it vibrated my desk that hard.
You
I
just
think you
fucking
might have
kicked it with
kneed your
knee.
desk.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, it was my knee. Yeah,
Yeah.
Holy
fucking
shit,
wrecked
it's, like,
that shit.
broken.
Man, your reflexes for your physical must be terrible.
He's a chiropractor, goddammit, and he has chiropractic reflexes. And
No
I'm
one
gonna
hits me
quote
with
him
a
on
reflex
this.
hammer.
So very quickly, as you disembark the vehicle, you all realize, all four of you here at this point. The three of you had been led here previously. Edward just arrives in a very damaged, large black vehicle. Rex begins leading you through the academy at this point. You realize you start at the entrance. You
Good day
start
to
at
you.
the visitor center.
Good day to you. Good day to you. Just like shaking everybody's hand.
You're like, oh, hey again.
I've got my hand wrapped up. Good day to you.
You are led through the kind of the visitor center of the academy, but very quickly you're granted to the more high access areas. So you're quickly moved through like the cafeteria, you move through the guidance center, but you find yourself very quickly in the planar sciences wing of the academy.
Oh no.
As you are led through the halls, you can see through the many rooms a variety of experiments being performed. You see small gnomish figures in rubber jumpsuits actively timing magical portal activations using tiny little stopwatches. You see several elfish students surrounding a floating chair made of a carved chitinous material, chanting words that have no meaning to you. And you see gigantic diagrams of planar models where students are being taught current planar theory and understanding, while one student is demonstrating the proper form to take when meditating into the astral plane. You see, this is some weird shit science. This is not conventional like magical theory. This is how do we do some weird stuff on the very fringe of current understanding.
Neat.
It is through these halls that you are brought to the door of one Professor Aiden Clayso.
Can I ask how to spell Clayso?
Yes, Clayso.
Hey, I spelled it right. Yay! It's as it sounds.
Yes.
Sweet. I was never gonna ask. I would be like, that's just what it is to me now.
This is who he is, regardless of whether he likes it or not.
Yeah.
You see Rex stands outside of the door and just gestures towards it and goes,
Well, my job is done. If you want to enter at your own leisure, feel free. If you need rides back, I guess you can call me, but I'd prefer you didn't.
I just walk in.
Wonderful.
you see him just open the door. He's like, great. Carson, make a quick perception check for me.
You mean Carson?
That's what I said. Carson, make a quick perception.
11.
Ooh. Okay. You enter the room and you see there is this, again, as previously described, middle-aged man, kind of slightly balding, large spectacles, but very formal dress. And you see him stand up and goes, "Oh, wonderful. You are all on time. Fantastic. It is a pleasure to meet each and every one of you. My name is Professor Aiden Chaso. I've already learned quite a deal about yourselves, and I'm hoping we can be of help to one another. Casa, Samuel, Edward, and Alfred, correct?
Yes. Do you know
Yep.
of the moon rats?
The what?
Nothing. Continue.
I don't know anything of moon rats. I just have this one rat in my office.
Do
And
we see it?
Yeah, oh yeah, there's a rat and there's a tiny little white rat that is running in a little cage, just spinning a wheel.
Does it look like Gibson or Gibbous?
Now that you're looking, make a perception check with advantage.
Hey!
That was a white rat when I saw it.
Yeah.
Right click, you said advantage, and then click.
Rat's been weird
Oh, didn't
lately.
roll. There's the other one.
Yeah, somebody's doing planar
A 17.
experiments on them.
17. There's a moment where the rat looks at you and you look at the rat and you just see the rat go, and you recognize this is Gibbers. Almost certainly. Maybe not the same Gibbers you met, in that it's a little more feral, bestial, not quite as smart, and not
Please
smoking
tell me
a cigarette.
There's a label on the container he's in, and it says Gibbers the lab rat or something.
It is unlabeled. It is specimen number 3.
Ah,
But you just see it kind of spinning in the wheel, and he's just like, that's the only rat we have in our facility. Well, not in our facility, mind you, just in my office. The rest of the rats are, well, I mean, largely in the is it botany? No, I don't know the other studies. I'm not gonna lie.
I would just nod very solemnly at the rat. You probably all can just see it.
You nod, and he just thinks you're like kind of bowing as a measure of respect. And he's like, "Oh yes, let me bow. I'm sure that's a thing among your people." Wonderful. So,
Look, I'm just a baker.
you are not just a baker. I already know that. Let's put all our cards on the table. Each of you have had encounters with things that most people would consider unexplainable. Is that correct?
yes.
I
Yes.
believe
Yep.
that everything has a bearing of explanation over time. So
We can all
maybe
see
to a weaker
things.
mind, possibly.
We can all see things that others seemingly cannot see or remember. Can you see them?
I regret to mention that I cannot, seemingly. Given Rex's informative lectures and given my inability to see this, and you see him pull a sheet off of a cage, and you see in that cage is a snarling feral form of himself shaking the wires and screaming, just punching at the metal. And you see as it punches, it is like visibly cracking the knuckles and the hands, and blood is splurting out of it.
Ooh.
So you look at that and all clearly see something, and I see nothing. And that's why you're here.
So what do you see? Do you see the cage moving? Or
Sorry, there's a cage? What? Oh, yes. Sorry, the cage. Yes, there's a cage. Yes. I don't see anything in the cage. And you see him putting his hand over his eyes while he is saying this.
Sir, you appear to be covering here. You need.
If
I'm just
You
gonna
need
put
those to
I'm gonna put
see.
the cover back over it.
Thank you. Edward, I appreciate that. That is what I mean. So we have found that if you are able to disable one of your senses while thinking about them, you're able to retain the thought a little longer than you would be otherwise. It is what we consider a mimetic effect.
All right.
So by disabling one sense, you are able to linger the thought a little longer. You know, you're able to, your brain is processing less of what it has to. So by allocating those resources to other senses, you're able to linger on that thought a little longer. So clearly you all saw something in the cage, which means that congratulations, you are a limited group that are able to perceive things that the average person cannot. And that's why I've invited you here. Each of you has some circumstance that would allow you to see these things, or rather has had some experiences and allowed you to see these things. And we here at the Wing of Planar Sciences would like to pursue that further with each of you. We would gladly pay you for these efforts, and we would like to assist you in whatever manner we can in pursuing these interests, if that is something that it does interest you.
Hi, Alfred P. Wells, world-renowned author. Question: Why would anyone care?
About what?
Your research. Why would anyone in this group, much less anyone else, care?
Well,
This isn't an accusation. Don't
No, certainly.
prepare anything defensively. I just need to know the answers so I can see if I need to.
Well, certainly. As you can imagine, there are benefits for both of us. As you help us with our understanding of the things that you can see, that makes it more of a societal norm. It means that we as a societal whole are better prepared for it. And to your point, you become less isolated as a result. I assume you are equally concerned about your own personal safety and about your general well-being, or in the case of several of you, of your own personal status.
If I had a general interest in my well-being, do you think I'd be following this?
Alfred, this
massive
is a
death machine around?
general explanation, not
Okay,
tailored
you're right.
to you.
You've got me. Let me be more specific on my intention. Why should Alfred P. Wells care about shadow research?
So you're saying, why should Alfred P. Wells, the renowned horror author, be concerned about the unknown?
Yes, and if you make the unknown known, then it's not unknown and scary anymore. What will I have to write about? If you take the boogeyman, then you take him out and put him in a floral shirt, make him wear a nice little knit hat, and tell him, this is Keith. Keith's not scary, it's Keith. Is it scary anymore? No. It doesn't matter if he's a shadow creature from the abhorrent plane. It's fucking Keith.
To your point and to alternative, where do you think the boogeyman starts?
Not a Keith.
No, I want you to really think about this, Alfred, not a flippant response. We don't know how little we know until we see a glimpse of it. Is that correct? There are deeper depths, if you understand.
That is true.
What I am offering you is a glimpse at the deeper depths. I am offering you a look beyond the mirror.
I'm afraid, and I regret to inform you, that I may be interested.
Wonderful. And in your case,
if I can be shown something that will test my resolve immediately.
Start to find test your resolve, Alfred?
I've found nothing that has piqued my interest or gave me a thrill or a fright or a...
Try this. And Karsa's going to let out a nasty street meat fart. How does your resolve feel now?
Unfortunately, my desire to vomit has become so regular that it's not even enough to get me to blink anymore.
Look, he forgot his poetry. That easy.
Of course, you're this close to boring me to death.
I wish I chose the spell Cause Fear.
That's
so good.
Well, Alfred, as I had mentioned to Rex, I don't know if he told you or not, but there is the matter of your inheritance that was denied to you, and I feel that is a genuine starting point.
I have multiple inheritances that were denied to me. Which one are we speaking of this time?
The one on your
I
father's
received
side.
a telegraph. What could you possibly know about my father's side when that is a complete mystery to me?
Well, we are familiar with why your mother kept your father imprisoned.
I don't know if you're familiar with the Drow people of the Middle Dark. They tend to keep everyone imprisoned. That's kind of their thing.
Not for their
I
protection, though.
am her blood. I am from her womb.
Yes.
And she decided so gracefully to keep me imprisoned.
She kept you in prison for a different reason, Alfred.
different than the mudded blood that ran through my veins, different than the sheer fact that I was born with male genitalia.
Yes. So your mother kept your father imprisoned for his safety, and they kept you imprisoned for their safety.
I highly doubt that the Drow people kept anyone enslaved for that person's own safety.
Your
Was he
father's?
a ticking bomb waiting to burst and create a crater into the waking world?
Your father or you?
My father.
No, your father was despite appearances, Alfred, your mother did love your father.
His misery, maybe.
No,
Much how she loved me.
again, she loves you differently. She had genuine affection for your father. She has none for you.
Well, the one thing that you've brought up that hasn't been a mystery. Thank you, Captain Obvious.
You tried to hire him and you told him his mother doesn't love him. I would like a beer with you.
Get in line.
You also want to have a beer? All right, no, never mind. What I'm saying, Alfred, is that your father may not have been as clear with you about his history as you deserved, or more about your heritage than you deserved. Are you familiar with the astral plane?
I'm familiar with the concept. Are you familiar with abstract concepts such as gravity or inertia?
Yes, and these are all concepts that are going to serve you well should you wish to sail the astral plane as your father had.
At best, my father was a wood elf. On his greatest day, maybe, perhaps, the most glorious thing he had ever done was unlocked a door and allowed me to roam caverns for 12 straight anguish-filled years. Far be it from him to view himself as a pirate of the astral plane.
Alfred, are you familiar with why your half-sisters murdered your father and attempted to murder you?
Apart from the two very clearly illustrated lines that I had already expressed to you, the fact that that's what they do and that's I'm their victim always. Yes, please do tell.
The third option is this, and you see him hand you a small spherical globe. It is heavy and it is like a leaden ball. He holds out his hand to put it in yours. He drops it, and upon making contact with your skin, it immediately turns to liquid. It hits your palm and it flows like mercury. And it becomes a little glove that covers your hand. There is...
This is a interesting trick.
How do I put this? Are you familiar with what this is, Alfred?
Piece of metal with a very low melting point?
Yes. Metallurgically speaking, it is. Are you familiar with its arcanic principles?
Am I?
Make an arcana check.
Can I just say, I've never heard it pronounced Arcana
I know.
until you.
I know. A lot of people do
It's
arcana.
the proper
arcana.
pronunciation.
I feel
Is
like
it?
New
I
York's coming
don't
out
know
with
if
them
it
right
is.
now.
No, arcana is the proper pronunciation.
Even though you say arcane. Arcana. I guess
Yeah.
arcana is weird.
I say Arcana.
Arcane.
It's arcana.
Arcana. I don't know.
So like
You-
I think-
you're like MJ now. You got one glove
Yeah, my
hand.
silver
and-
glove.
Yeah.
Touch kids. I rolled a 14.
A 14 is just the cusp. You're not familiar with the intricacies of how it works or how it would, but you are aware of what a spelljammer might be. Think of this as the key fob to a vehicle that you don't currently have. Alfred, you look confused.
What? Can do you have an explanation?
Your father left behind his spelljammer for you, and his reported last wish was for you to see the stars.
Okay. You have my attention.
I don't think he was referring to our planar stars, Alfred. I think he was referring to the astral plane.
Why would you know all this?
You see,
Why would you have that?
make an insight check.
$24.
Oh, shit. Okay. Is that a? That's
I'm your
not a
dad.
crit. That's not a crit, right?
Nope.
Okay.
One off.
For when you ask this question, for a microsecond, and anyone not trained in the nuances of human expression as you are, would not have caught this. But for 1 second, you see something mischievous and gleeful and ancient in those eyes. And it gives you the willies. It is an ooky spooky feeling. You just see him calmly compose himself. And again, it is a fraction of a second. It's like you get this immediate expression of emotion, and then it just as quickly reins itself back, like it has been practiced for millennia. I have many resources, and I like to make sure that everything is accounted for and in its proper place. To that end, I am very good at getting information and acquiring things such as this. But this is not mine. It is yours. So I wanted to make sure it was returned to your hands. You're welcome.
My attention.
Wonderful. The rest of you, there are similar incentives here. Edward, I'm sure you're already familiar. We have an arrangement. Unfortunately, I can't offer you anything more than that, but I hope it is sufficient. And again, if your family requires anything at all, and if it is in my power to give, I will make it happen.
Yeah, there will probably be requests for things like that.
Wonderful. Karsa and Simuel, is there anything I can offer you?
So long as you promise that neither my employees nor my sister end up in any harm, you have my hand.
I can't promise that, but I will do my best.
I shoot him an unwilling glare.
Okay.
I'll just blast immediately.
I do want to state, and I do want to mention for each of you, this is not a safe path if you choose it. This is a path of the unknown and presumed danger. I cannot guarantee your safety or the safety of anyone you may know.
Karsa flashes his teeth. No one can guarantee safety. I seek two things. 1, answers. 2, the power to break chains. Can you help me with either of these?
I believe I can help you with both.
Then point me in the right direction.
Fantastic. Simuel, I'm sure you're aware. I don't intend to put anyone in your immediate circle in danger. I will do my best to make sure they are protected. But again, this is dangerous work. That being said, I don't think it is any more dangerous than you currently are to them in your current state.
So you will not direct any harm towards them.
Oh, no. And that's that. I do want to specify that was never my intent. I am more letting you know the dangers that are inherent in taking up work like this. And I'm sure you're already aware on a lesser scale, but this is how they would colloquially say the big leagues.
And you will be able to answer questions that I have dealing with my friend.
I also can't guarantee that, but I am hoping to, and that is part of what I am seeking, is answers from each of your respective fields of interest.
Okay. I'm on board for now.
Wonderful. So, in the spirit of that, each of you has a particular area of interest that I am curious in exploring. Where do we begin? Where do you want to start? For what I'm told, Karsa is looking to strike down something that is unimaginably strong. Simio, you are looking to better understand the entity inside of you. Edward, you're currently on loan, so forgive me if I don't have anything of interest, but there is something that may interest your employer, and that is the what's the word? The misplacing of a certain packed primeval recently.
Okay.
Yeah. Finally, Alfred, I believe you have a promise to honor, should you wish to. I believe we have the resources to arrange that.
Okay. Yeah.
So as your current employer, I ask you where you'd like to start.
What are our options?
Those. Whose course would you like to pursue first? Because each of those will bring me, how we say, a larger piece of the puzzle. Also, whatever you choose to do, I will request that you choose shortly because I have another 5 applicants coming in after this.
Oof. Well. I don't think we're up to whatever scary thing he wants.
I'm sorry, what?
I don't think we're up to whatever scary thing that one wants. Unimaginable horror and whatnot.
Well, there are certain things we could do to get you to that point, should we need to.
Yeah.
Certain things we could get to level that playing field. It would take time and effort, but it is certainly within your power.
Mm.
I want to understand what this is.
That is why we have a specific charter already started. We have an airship ready should you wish to go to the jungle.
Jungle?
I believe my former colleague was investigating the same before his passing.
Did he look...
Colleague.
Oh, I want to describe the guy that I saw, the bespectacled guy holding a jar in the jungle.
So you describe Simuel's friend and colleague. Well, so you describe Simuel's friend and apparent colleague of Professor... I lost his name. Aiden Clayso.
Clayso.
God, what is his name? Did I not write? Alex, what was your friend's name? I've completely blanked.
I don't remember. Something Jacobson.
I'll take that. So, Professor Jacobson. The description matches your friend Simuel, and it does match the one of the faces X'd out on the board.
I'm sorry to tell you, that is one of the 3 faces that had an X over it.
So he could see these things too?
Sorry, what? The 3 things that had X's over what, Karsa? You were saying?
Remember, I know 20 people who can see things like we do, but 3 of those people were crossed out. 2 of them were my original companions.
Interesting. How do
was
you know
this
this, Carson?
I told you, the moon rats.
Sorry, you keep saying that. What is a moon rat?
It's more stuff that you think maybe you can't see. And we'll save this one for another. Ask me again in 30 days.
You get the telltale reminder of Professor Clayso will remember that.
Exclamation point.
You get the little exclamation
I'll
point.
remember. Great.
Interesting. All right. Well, okay, Carl. So you've red X's. So what do the red X's have any significance towards?
Well, the 2 people that I knew that had red X's is because they've died. I'm sorry to tell you that maybe your associate and Simul, your friend, I would not hold out too much hope.
Oh no, we already know they're dead. Sorry, that I didn't mean to bury the lead there. This individual died months. Simul, you already know. Simul's been in his office.
Yes, his office supplies were the reason I ended up in this situation.
Exactly. So if we want to pursue perhaps Simul's current situation, we could start there. But again, I leave the choice in your hands.
I have to check in at the office every day. I can't really be away that much.
So we have arranged things for that. You know, you don't need to physically go to the office every day, and as your employer, I insist that you don't.
Okay. All right.
We
The boss.
can arrange things. If you need to communicate, we can. But I think for now, maybe checking in once a week is healthy. And what say you, Edward?
All right. But I got to check on my family too.
That is a slightly more difficult request. What are you thinking? What do you want?
I need to make sure they're comfortable and that they're safe.
Oh, again, we have already made plans for that. I don't know if you've seen the contract.
I did, yeah.
So your employer should be handling that side of things.
All right. Okay, then. Then I guess we can go on a trip through the jungle. Sure. Yeah, we'll do that.
What was it exactly that Jacobson was doing for you?
Oh, no, Jacobson wasn't working for me. No, we separate departments entirely.
Do you know what department he was working under?
Flora and fauna, yes.
Okay.
We are entirely separate. We are separate sides of the building.
Is there any way I can get access to the projects that he was working on?
If you'd like, I can give you a small dossier. Again, I think you were responsible for getting most of his paperwork out of his office, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Well, it was dropped off, rather.
Yeah, of course. So, where shall we begin?
Well, some information. You, I assume, know we've been attacked by Shadow,
Yes.
and what can you tell? When they disappear, I cannot see them. But if I cannot see them, I cannot fight them. How can you help?
Well, I can't.
I must see chains to break them.
So, in terms of the shadow creatures, from what Rex has described of them to me, our current suspicion is that they belong to a plane we have colloquially termed nowhere. In that, Carson, I know maybe plane of theory isn't your forte. I want to make sure you understand this as best as I can without belittling your intelligence. So
Good luck.
where should I pick up, Carson? How can I explain this to you in a way that isn't overly pedantic but is also giving you the gist?
in a way that helps me hit them. But try me.
They disappear from this plane. You won't be able to hit them. There is no way to continue hitting them until they become tangible again. That is when you can hit them. Now,
Is there,
from what we've been told, they cannot go intangible infinitely. They must shift between one plane and the other. And for the most part, they seem to have an interest on our plane, not theirs. If they are wounded deeply, desperately, or if they see that odds aren't in their favor, they will return to their native plane.
when we faced them, they seemed to take random people off of the street, wherever they went, and they did not return.
Hypothesizing purely out of just, shots in the dark, they might need food. It might be a food source for them. It might be a way for them to reproduce, to make more of themselves. I can't say for certain. Again, this is not... I have Rex working on the shadow problem, if that's what you're all concerned about. Rex is working on that with another group.
Do we have some of those jars?
Containment jars. Actually, yes. I only have 2 at this time, but we can certainly arrange them. Simuel's colleague was actually responsible for their creation. So unfortunately, we've lost the source of the ability to create them, but our researchers are currently working on a way to replicate the science. Yes, here. Let me just provide you. And he goes into a closet. He goes over, and you see that it is bare shelves except for these 2 jars. And he reaches over and he provides you with both jars.
Oh, whoa, both. Whoa, amazing.
Well, Rex has the other 8. So,
All right, fair enough. He probably has a larger team as well, and their shadows are probably more common here.
Do I recognize this jar?
yeah, you have a shattered one in a back alley dumpster.
Okay.
Homie got a shadow in him.
so if I move it towards you, do you just your shadow thing inside you be like, hilarious.
A containment jar.
I don't see why you'll need one, but hey, any resource, I suppose.
Never
Just in
know.
case, it could be useful. Rummy Jake, I will actually give you an item description for the containment jar and what it is capable of doing.
Perfect. All right, understood.
If I go to reach for one, does it get nervous?
That's what I'm saying.
Make an insight check.
Got a fucking crit.
Oh!
Yeah,
So
brother.
you reach for it, and there's this warm feeling of nostalgia. In the same way that,
The jar.
it's comfortable. It's in a secure container. It's its first container. It's the first place it remembers being within. You are a slightly large container, and you're a little more fleshy. But you never forget your first.
You have a Pokemon inside you, and you just found its ball.
That's so fucking cool.
Alright.
Perfect.
Wonderful.
Nice.
So again, time's
Thank
running
you.
thin. I need to ask each of you where you'll be going so we can get those resources established for you.
I say jungle. Let's do it.
Alfred, Carson?
I'll be accompanying whoever leaps headlong into chaos in the attempt to discover the unknown.
So jungle then, Karsa, thoughts, opinions?
I've never been to a jungle.
Perfect.
I'll cut it down. Let's go.
Sorry, you're gonna cut. Karsa, and you see him as you begin start moving. He's like, don't. The door closes.
Yeah.
He's going
Um,
shotgun that whole damn jungle.
Also, please don't clear cut the jungle.
God.
If it gets in my way.
All right. So each of you know that you have 3 days of downtime before the
Preparations.
3 days of preparations to get whatever you need to purchase anything in the city before your flight is chartered, because you will be taking a large airship. I will have you
Fantastic.
guys do that as far as prep work goes, so you guys know exactly what you're getting and what you're buying and what you're purchasing if you need to. As far as money goes too, I know I've been kind of like describing it. What I will do is send each of you a personal account that you currently have access to.
Yay.
And we can kind of go from there. But that is the majority. And then next week we will pick up with actually starting that journey.
2 weeks, right?
Awesome.
2 weeks. Sorry.
2
Bi-weekly.
weeks.